Best time of the year. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Thank you guys again here. This is when football teams are made. It's the offseason. This is when it's made. By the way, our next 4 hours powered by our friends at BetUS. Make sure you hit the like button. You guys have been great. You were sensational yesterday. All supers go to the top. Howie's already busy right now, and he's working hard right now. By the way, this just in. The Eagles have lost assistant run coordinator and assistant offensive line coach Steve Pagnetti to the TJ Pagnetti to the New Orleans Saints. I think that's a great hire. We suggested there's going to be some cherry picking that's going to happen with Kellen Moore taking some of the players and potentially coaches off the Eagles staff and off the Eagle roster. So coaches, there could be even free agents. Would Mickey Loomis and Kellen Moore go after Zach Bond? They have no cap room. I have no idea how they would do that and bringing him back. But Kellen is in a position now. Where is the only team that he can actually go and get some assistant coaches and potential free agents when free agency opens up next month? The Eagles. Most of these teams have their coaching staffs already set, especially the new coaching staffs that had the head coaching change. So, I mean, I agree. I see some of you posting already. The Saints are in cap hell. They are by far in cap hell. So, do me a favor. Hey, by the way, I gotta thank my guy Pepe, who just posted a picture of Big Sills when he was at the University of Miami. It's the last game that I played at the Orange Bowl. It was our spring game. And I told him the storyline. I had like 6 plays and 3 sacks, and Jimmy pulled me out. Craziest thing ever happened. You ready for this? So the next day, the NCAA declares me ineligible because I had taken too many classes or credits. And today, everybody gets to do that. So I guess we were ahead of the time, and we were ahead of the portal. So they told me my eligibility had run out, which wasn't true. Turned out not to be true at all. And they cost me my senior year. I was projected at being the 7th pick in the draft. And I ended up going 56 overall, which is a second rounder. And Reggie White was a supplemental guy because back then they did the supplemental a lot. They had a USFL supplemental. And here, so the next day I get drafted. That Sunday I play against the Bears. I'm like, so I had a Canes helmet on 48 hours earlier. And then I had an NFL helmet on 48 hours playing the Chicago Bears at Tampa Stadium. And Pepe found a picture of that final game there at the Orange Bowl. I appreciate you doing it. And yes, I will sign it. You send it to Big Sills. We'll send it back to you, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate you finding that. Brought back some great memories. So we appreciate it. Hit the like button. Some other news. And it looks like the Eagles are trying to get ahead of some of the players that don't have any guaranteed money coming their way in 2025. Reportedly, the Eagles are working on a 3-year, $27 million deal for Nakobe Dean. So I would ask you this. Do you feel comfortable giving Nakobe Dean a 3-year, $27 million deal? Now, what's the significance of this? I'll show you here. Dean is one of the players. And here are the players that have no guaranteed money heading their way. Lane Johnson, Darius Slay, Dallas Goedert, James Bradbury, Brandon Graham, Cam Jurgens, Nakobe Dean, and Tyler Steen. All 3 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these players have no money guaranteed to them coming up in 25. What's the significance of that? These are guys you want to do contract extensions with so that you get a lower base number and you get a lower cap hit. That's why they're great candidates for this. Lane Johnson has a ton of money coming his way, but he has no guaranteed money coming his way. So if you want to be able to get ahead of the curve. The only reason that you would give Dean a contract extension now is because you're not owing him any money and he doesn't have a fifth-year option, okay? There's no guaranteed money that is prorated out for a third-rounder. So he has nothing ahead of him when it comes to the guaranteed cash. So it's easier to do a negotiation with a guy that's a third-rounder who you want on your football team, but you can also negotiate and say, hey, man, you know, you sustained another injury. So I would put this out there to you. Here's my problem with giving Nakobe Dean a contract. Has he ever finished a year not on injured reserve? Nobody's questioning the player now. He can play. He's proved he can play. But has he proved he can stay healthy for an entire season? Are you willing to put up $30 million over the next 3 years? I don't know. I mean, I might want to see him come back this year. What's he going to look like? He's never been healthy. Health has to be a part of the equation here. Okay? People are not questioning his ability now. Their question is durability. I'm not giving him a contract extension. Not until I address Zach Bond. I'm not saying they're not addressing Zach Bond and Mekhi Becton. I'm not saying that. By the way, the Dallas Cowboys have made him a target, Mekhi Becton, for right guard. Okay? They've made a target of him. That's a great sign for the Cowboys if they can land him. They'll give him north of 11-2, somewhere in the $13-14 million range, and Becton will be the right guard for the Dallas Cowboys. I told you this. This has gotten our conversation today has nothing to do with cap. Has everything to do with what the market is going to do. Okay? Everything. Gary Cobb will join us at 5 p.m. Our boy Xander will join us at 3 p.m. So some news. Here's, again, you don't make your football team in September. You make your football team in February and all the way through June and July. That's where your football team is going to be assembled and whether or not you're going to be a contender again. Every year's different. You know, someone, and I hear people doing this. Eagles are in a great position right now. They are. They're a deep roster. They can afford mistakes. Places like Dallas can't. You can't fuck up on a free agent and get away with it. Let me show you where I'm talking, how I'm talking here when it comes to the Eagles. The Eagles had two dudes on their team that were absolutely no impact on the team this year. And between them, they were $25 million. It might will have been dead money in Bryce Huff and James Bradbury. But you were able to sustain that because of the roster being so deep. 95% of the teams in the league cannot support that type of mistake. Look at the 49ers. They're starting to feel it a little bit with what they did with that Trey Lance deal and that 3 first-rounders they gave. You're starting to see some of that. Why? They're older, and they have to start dumping veteran players like Deebo Samuel. The Eagles are in a good place because the young guys stepped in. They finally stepped up. Hey, if I'm Mekhi Becton, he's a first-round pick. He's got to determine, hey, is the grass really greener on the other side in Dallas? Do I want to go play for Dak Prescott if I'm him, or do I want to stay with Jalen Hurts? Me? If you offered me $13 or $14 million in Dallas, and the Eagles came and offered me 12 with bonuses, and I get a chance to go back with that old line, I might just stay in Philly. I don't know what the future is going to be. Doesn't seem like Lane Johnson wants to call it a career at any time. But still, you never know where you're going to be plugged in. Get this. Mekhi Becton had no idea when he signed with the Philadelphia Eagles that he would be starting the entire season at right guard. By the way, it's the first time in really, I think, his entire career that he's been healthy. You should also take a look at that. You want to move him back out the left tackle? You've had no success out there. If I were him, I'd stay at right guard. I could be the preeminent right guard, maybe, or top 3 in the league with the size that he has. Why would I want to go out and go to a position where I have colossal failures at? I'm not doing that. Hit the like button, guys. Okay? Hey, and by the way, I made that number yesterday, $9.7 million annually for Zach Bond. That's the market rate. I can promise you, and I agree with Xander and everyone else, that thing's going to get hyped up at least $6-7 million because he's going to have a bidding market for him. Not as big as Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat's going to have about 20 teams after him. Okay? And the key will come down for Sweat where he lands. If the team feels comfortable with his history of that knee, if they feel comfortable with him, and for the record, I don't really think Josh Sweat and the Eagles have a great relationship. I don't. You told him to take a pay cut last year. Why the fuck would I be in a good position to help you out again? Not where I'm at. That's why he hired Rosenhaus. I don't believe he has a good relationship. Then again, this is not about who you like and who you don't like. This is about getting paid. Like guys like Brandon Graham and Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson and those guys who have tenure on these teams. I get that, but that's not really the case the majority of the time for these rosters. Nobody gives a shit. They care about getting paid. Is the team good? Does it give me a chance to extend my resume potentially where something down the road could be great for me if I'm a guy like Jordan Mailata? Could I be a Hall of Famer? Jordan Mailata already in his short time as an Eagle tackle, he's been to 2 Super Bowls and 2 NFC championships. I don't think he gets the respect that he deserves because he was a 7th rounder. In this league, you get tagged. You know why Zach Bond doesn't have a big market? Everyone's like this. The guy was a special teams guy for 5 years. You see the 2 guys in front of him? Look how good the 2 guys played against the run that were in front of him. How good is this guy? You put Zach Bond in Carolina, he sucks. You understand that, right? You put Zach Bond in Dallas, he sucks. What? They can't stop the run. Hey, I don't care how talented you are. If you don't got good players in front of you, you ain't playing good on defense. Linebackers are a product of the people in front of you. So you got to determine, hey, do I want to really chase the bag of money in Jacksonville? What's the 2 tackles like? Okay, Eric Armstead's a good player. Jacksonville has money. I think about them. Washington has good tackles. I think about them. Okay? It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a ton of topics today. Sills, with Becton's age, is Stoutland thinking he can be the heir to Lane when his time comes? You sign him, solves the right guard issue and future right tackle issue. Yeah, I think what you do, you look at him, Bob, and you do the same thing you did with Landon Dickerson. Dickerson was drafted not to play left guard. He was drafted to be the heir apparent for Jason Kelsey. Well, guess what? On the way to determine that transition, they determined that Landon Dickerson's a better left guard. Let's just go get a center, and it's worked out marvelously. They went out and got in the draft, they got a Pro Bowl center. That's insane. Great coaching, great evaluating, great talent, great drafting, great insight. All of that was spectacular. So he was the plan. The plan changed because Dickerson played so well. They get Cam Jurgens. He solidifies it. They're better this year than they were with Kelsey. That's exactly what you want to have if you're an organization. That's a grand slam move. And then you go in free agent and you sign a colossal flop in New York with Mekhi. Mekhi Becton was a colossal flop with the Jets. If you're the Jets and you're watching this and you're watching the way he played, and you couldn't connect to make him want to play right guard, that's on the Jets. That's on the Jets. Okay? Jeff, so let me get this right. He had never played for Jeff Stoutland. He had never been coached by Jeff Stoutland. I'm talking Mekhi Becton. And all of a sudden, Sirianni kind of suggests, why don't you play right guard? We got a hole open there. You can play right now. We love Steen and them, but go compete for it. Go compete for it. You can win the job. And he did. And he goes, okay. So he says okay for a team he's never played for. But a team that drafted him in the first round, he said, fuck you. Okay. Sounds like a culture issue in New York. Like I told you. Stick to Band-Aid sales, Woody. That's all you know. Matt? Well, you don't even know Matt. And stick to Band-Aid sales. You surely don't know anything about evaluating a talent, especially in a place you need it the most. That's the offensive line. That's a great move. So again, we're going to talk about what are you going to do with the draft picks that you have. Also, what you are going to do and who is eligible to be people that you would think that you can move money around to maybe get Myles Garrett in the building here. Also, a little bit on the passing game. How many people in here believe that the Eagles are going to want to improve the passing game this season? How many people in here believe that? How many people think that after they get the personnel, the offensive coordinator, and everything situated, that's going to be a priority? Which, of course, it's going to be a priority. Why? Because of the money you're spending. Okay? Because of the money you're spending. So here's what I would say to you. Should the Eagles improve the passing game? Should they? You just won a Super Bowl. Should they improve the passing game? I say yes. But should they? You just won games and you were dominating. Okay? I do more balance. Winning is a priority. About 15%. All right. So I wrote some numbers down here on who you guys are. And let's say this to you. Jalen Hurts had two really great football games, and they mattered the most. I saw this before in 17. Foles was actually better in the NFC title game at Super Bowl than Jalen was. Different teams, okay? Different teams. Foles had lesser talent, but it's again, we saw a 2-game stretch where Foles was better than Hurts in this previous Super Bowl. Nobody will ever tell me, especially in the playoffs, that Foles wasn't great in the playoffs in 17, and they went through a stretch where you look at playoff football where he was better. I mean, here's the numbers. In the divisional round, he was 23 of 30 at 76.7 completion percentage and 246 yards for 100 quarterback rating. NFC title game, 26 of 33, 78%, 79% completion percentage, 352 yards and 3 touchdowns. In the Super Bowl, he was 28 of 43 for 373 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nobody's ever going to convince me that Hurts was better in the playoffs than what Foles was that year, because he wasn't by far. The Green Bay game, 13 of 21, 131, no touchdowns. Or excuse me, 2 TDs, no interceptions. In the divisional game, he was 15 of 20 for 128, 91 rating. NFC title game, 20 of 22, 246, a touchdown, 110 rating. And in the Super Bowl, 17 of 22, 221, and 2 TDs and 1 interception with a 119 quarterback rating. Now, the passing game. I like what you guys said. Okay? How much are you going to want to improve? It would only help Hurts, right? It would only help Jalen to have more balance in the offense. The key is going to be how much. Passing, they were 29th. As everyone knows, they were 7th in scoring. They took 38 sacks this year with him, over 40 as a quarterback group. through the 17 games. Jalen Hurts holding the ball, 22, 2.76. 2023, 3.03. This year held on to the ball the most, reading defenses. 3.13 seconds. So as he's gotten more experience, he's actually holding the ball longer. That makes sense. Okay, moving around in the pocket, having better pocket presence, knowing where the rush is coming from. Not that I think he does because of the sacks. Again, where we're getting at here is, can he improve the running or passing game? Here, there's no doubt that this past season, the passing game was underwhelming in the Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts era. The 4 years he's been there, this has been all kind of the numbers in reverse here. Now, again, we're talking about improving something that would help the team. Can you imagine if they got the passing game going? And I'm not saying to some sort of level like the Rams. That's not what I'm saying here. Okay? Bro, I'm not fucking saying you didn't win the Super Bowl. I'm talking about improving your team. What, nobody in here thinks they're going to try to improve the passing game? You're out of your fucking minds. I think the Eagles should stick with the run game. I'm not saying you shouldn't. They should do more with play action. Is that under center? The screen game and a little RPO. Okay, that's right. We're just talking about more balance. Tell me something, guy. Tell me something. Don't you think that having a more balanced offense helps Hurts? Helps you guys become more unpredictable? I mean, and you're not leaning on one guy. Get this, guys. People, Howie and everyone right now want to win. You don't think that A.J. Brown wants to improve the passing game? This team will repeat if Jalen can crack the 4K passing yards mark and under 300 carries for Saquon. I don't know if those numbers matter. I'm not talking about 280 yards a game passing. I'm talking about more balance. So, Michael, I don't know what that number looks like. Fuck, it could be 2,700 yards. I'm not debating that. Now, here's something here. Jessica's right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Didn't the fact that people didn't think Jalen could do it in the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl, Jessica, also make it unpredictable? Because all of a sudden, when the Kansas City Chiefs and Spagnuolo said Hurts can't beat us, he did. So maybe you keep it as it is. I'm trying to come to a conversation here with people. What if you want to improve your pass game? Got to be efficient, says Twiz. Twiz, I think you and I are saying the same shit. Okay? Get this. As one of Jalen's biggest haters, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This team is too good overall. It doesn't matter, JT. JT, you're not wrong. I think both conversations can be true. I do. You want to have more balance, though, don't you? What's the point of having A.J. Brown? You're going to use them as decoys for the rest of their careers? Okay? Get this. Folks, none of you are wrong here. Hit the like button, guys, please. Give me a total on the likes. We don't need regular season MVP, Hurts. Super Bowl MVP is more important. Balance. Brandon, that's kind of all I'm talking about. Once again, somebody brought up 4,000 yards. Michael brought up 4,000 yards passing. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not putting a number or a number on it. 84, thank you, Kyle. Let's get that number over 100, guys. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about changing everything up here. Okay? So the passing game needs to improve to the limit that an opposing defensive coordinator can't disregard it. So nobody cares if Jalen Hurts to win with his arm. I agree. Let's see here. Hey, Xander, I missed that super chat. If I can get it, please. Thank you guys so much for all the supers. I appreciate it. You always want to improve. They had the number one rush offense. Of course they will want to improve the pass game, says Kyle. I know, Kyle. Everyone's in here talking like, see, anytime that you point something out and you point something out they didn't do well. I heard Xander say, what's the hole on the team? Oh, well, it's the passing game. I don't know how you don't address that first. There's your hole. And you win a Super Bowl with a hole like that. It's unconventional. It's unbelievable. There's only one hole on that team. Your passing game. Okay? It's the passing. How about this? I'll rephrase that. It's a consistent passing game. Okay? It's a consistent passing game. Hey, I'm awake. Are you? I don't give a fuck if you don't like the topic or not, man. I don't really care. You can sit there and write your bullshit all you want. I'm doing a sports talk show, guy. You don't want to be part of it? I don't care. By the way, I got a little something to say to everybody here. I saw Xander this morning. Hey, guys, we appreciate all your super chats. I can't tell you we can't run the network without you. But don't in a million years ever fucking think that you put super chats up there and that gives you the autonomy to talk shit to me and me not talk shit back to you. You can fucking save your money. Don't think that at all. I never block anybody on this program. I never will. But don't you ever fucking think because you put super chats up there that gives you the autonomy to run me over. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. You send my fucking notes to Xander all you want. I don't give a dick. I want them. I need them. And I respect all of you. Well, some of you. But you don't have the right to sit there and think if you fucking put money on here that I'm not going to kick the shit out of you. You better have fucking, hey, if you're going to kick the shit out of me for my bad receipts this year, you come nailing in here, you have a right to kick my ass on my bad receipts. You do. You start thinking you can pay to have your way with me, man. You think I'm your fucking hooker? I don't disagree with you. I think it was very important that they stuck with the run and attempts and the attempts during the Super Bowl. It opens everything up. Harv, I agree 100% with you. Absolutely. Please hit the like button. Supers go to the top. By the way, Cross and Broad taking shots at us. I'm going to continue to defend my Barkley take. Saquon Barkley, when he got here, John McMullen too, said the same thing. And so did everyone else. When Barkley got to Philadelphia, he had failed in New York as the second pick. That's a fact. He was a good player there. But if you look like yesterday, who said it? Marcus Hayes. Marcus Hayes even said it. Look down the list. This guy's like 88th in rushing all time in NFL history. He's been in the league 6 years. And he's got a 2,000-yard rushing season. And he's still 87th. The guy's not going to the Hall of Fame. He's not. Because of the bad years in New York. Is he a Hall of Fame talent? Absolutely. The narrative changed that New York fucked up by never building a team and an O-line around him. That's the facts. That's the truth in what happened. Okay? That's the truth. So let's get back to this topic here on improving the passing game. Hey, by the way, great job, guys, on getting the show exposure. That's all you. That's not just me. Believe me, if I'm screaming at people and I'm doing topics to people and no one's listening, what's the fucking point? I'm not doing this. But because of you and I get a chance to talk to you every day, you make the show relevant. Okay? Even guys like I'm Awake or you and all these other dudes. Okay? You guys make the show relevant. I know this. All right. So continuing, do you want to improve your pass game? And by the way, nobody gets blocked unless you get personal with families. It's the only thing that gets your ass blocked. You start talking shit on somebody's family. I don't really care about you talk shit on me. Thank you again, Michael. And paid the Green Bay quarterback $40 million that is no longer on the team. Dude, the Jets suck. I mean, the cap hit they have, you're right. It's $40 million, $39 million that they got to eat for throwing him off the team. How stupid can you be? Here, when Philly was 2-2, the Eagles pass game and versus the rush count, the Eagles, they were 20th in rushing attempts after you're 2-2. After September 11th, you guys totally went into running the football. And from week 5 to 16, you guys had the number 1 rush rate of any team in the NFL. From weeks 5 to 16, do you really want to improve the pass game? And how much? Tell you what, A.J. Brown is going to be a problem if you don't turn that passing game around. That's an opinion. That's not a fact. He's not going to sit around catching 60 passes. That's not going to happen. That guy is not going to do that. Good question, Sills. You think Najee Harris would take a backup role? I would ask that Najee Harris this. Okay, Najee, where are you going to go that has the offensive line? How about you do this? If you're Najee Fly, you take a pay cut to $6 million and you come help out Saquon Barkley. Both of you guys get over 1,000 yards rushing because that's what would happen. You'd have 2,000-yard backs. And you'd have one guy you can use in the red zone more, and you're trying to keep tread on the tires of Barkley. Barkley's your star still. He wins a Super Bowl. What do you think his market value is going to be if he signs a 1-year contract in Philly for $6 million? I'd think about that. And my market value at 27, I'd go out in the open market, maybe get $9-10 million. That's what I would do. Hey, dude, you know what Philly offers you? What do you think the Philadelphia Eagles offer people like Najee Harris? What do you think the Eagles offer you? What do the Eagles offer you as an organization? If you're a free agent and you're thinking stability, a chance, well, where are you going to get your chance from? Every position's pretty much clogged off. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Supers go to the top. Sills, as much as you piss me off, I got nothing but love for you and Xander. I don't miss the show. My friend, I love you, man. Thank you so much for saying that. I know, man. I'm going to there it is. Who said that? A future. A future. I can come to Philly. Hey, let me say this to you. What did Mekhi, hey, somebody, I'm doing this off the top of my head. What did Mekhi Becton, what did he sign for that 1-year deal to come and play in Philly? Tell me, what was hey, Kyle, if you're in here, it's my statistician. You tell me, how much did Mekhi Becton's one? Q, you think it's $5 million? Is it $5 million? Somebody confirm that. 3.5? Somebody tell me what Mekhi Becton signed. That 1-year deal with the Eagles, and I'm going to show you what the Eagles offer you. Okay? 1 year, $2.7 million. Okay, let's just say it's 2.5, 2.7. He's projected right now to get an $11.2 million deal. What did the Eagles do for him? They raised his market value tenfold, like 8-fold. Look at that. Look at what they did to Zach Bond's market value. 9 times his pay he's going to get an increase of minimum. Think about that. When you get a guy like him and you increase the market value. Dude, Mekhi Becton signed a 1-year contract for $2.7 million and is going to go into the open market with about 18 teams wanting him, offering him anywhere from 11.2 to 14 million annually. How do you fucking like that? That's Philly ball. Hey, you won the Super Bowl. He hit the lottery too. Zach Bond hit the lottery. Milton Williams under contract last year. Now he's not. Obviously, they hit the lot. Here's the guys that hit the lottery this year for the Eagles. Hurts. They'll extend him. Cam Jurgens. I think about extending his ass. He's got no guaranteed money coming. I mean, James Jones goes, Sills, I'd love to have Bond in Washington. Hey, dude, if you dropped an extra $4 million next to his name, you can have him. You can get him. You could get that player. You know who the second betting favorite is to get Myles Garrett? It's the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay? The Eagles, next to the Commanders, are the second betting favorites to get Myles Garrett. You either make or break your career, hence Huff. That's right. Hey, it's a great take. Hey, can you imagine Huff? Well, look at Hassan Reddick. Look what the Jets market value did. Here's the prime example of what I'm showing you now. Okay? Zach Bond signs a 1-year contract of $1.5 million or whatever it was, $3 million, whatever. He plays here. He's all pro. He's going to go anywhere north of $10 million, whatever that number lands on. Becton signed a $2.7 million contract. What happened? You're talking about $11 million to $14 million deal. Hassan Reddick decides that he doesn't want to play with Philly, goes to the Jets. He was talking about a $25 million deal last year. Am I right, guys? Hassan Reddick, this time last year, was talking about a $25 million annual deal this year. Was he not? This time last year. You know what his market value is? 11.2. In 1 year, he lost $10 million off of his value of how teams see him now. Not only did you lose salary, but you lost league worth leaving the Eagles and going to the Jets in a span of 18 months. 18 months. This guy was talking about $25 million annually. Now he'll be lucky to get 10. Wow. Whoever was that guy's agent, I mean, seriously, he should be disbarred from the NFLPA for representing people. I mean, there's the quintessential not knowing the market. That guy did everything wrong. The only thing that saved Howie's ass, Nolan Smith, and to some extent, Jalix Hunt, saved Howie's ass. Because the Huff deal was a disaster. And he's still got 2 more years of that shit. But he hedged it with, and by the way, he's not making a deal for Bryce Huff if Nolan Smith is panning out. He's not doing that. So he went out because Smith wasn't ready yet, in his eyes, signed him to a $51 million deal. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Nolan Smith is panning out. And the only reason he panned out is because Brandon Graham got hurt, fortunately for Smith. It's very complicated, rebuilding teams, working on your deficiencies. The Eagles have one glaring deficiency. And by the way, we're talking about Super Bowl champions. I think it's frightening. I want to put it into better perspective for you here. You have a shitty passing game consistently, and you're the Super Bowl champions? That's fucking unbelievable. How in today's NFL can you have one of the worst passing games consistently and be the Super Bowl champions in an age where throwing the ball is a premium? It's unheard of. It's unbelievable. Hey, in my opinion, it's a merit badge. I'm telling you who you are. You're not a consistent passing game, and you're still the world champions. It's crazy. Me? I'm changing that thing, as I said to Xander about 4 days ago. I'm changing that thing between 5 and 15% if I can. If I can't, I'm not. I'm not reinventing a championship wheel. Now I would want to continue. That's the contingency plan. What if, this is the if. What if Barkley does get nicked up and you're without him for a spell? Okay? Don't you want to lean on your passing game a little more? Dude, actually, the Kansas City Chiefs probably had the best game against Barkley and the O-line all year. Will we not agree? Now, if you could get that passing game a little more consistent, you're unbeaten. You could go undefeated. I'm not ripping you. Trying to improve you. Okay? Trying to improve it. Okay? Get this. Let's put this dickhead in his place. Do you think that AJ and Devontae and Howie and Nick are bitching about the fucking passing game and trying to improve the team this offseason? Yes or no? What a dumb dick. This is such a dick take. I'm not talking. Did you not hear what I just said? You're fucking Super Bowl champions with a shitty passing game. Can you imagine if you improved it and you made it better? Don't try to better yourselves. Sit there and be Philly 4x4 or this guy, One Nut Youngie. Try to be one of those guys. Don't ever try to get better. Holy shit. Nobody's ripping you, fuckhead. We're trying to talk about getting the team better. Holy shit. Hey, you know what I'm going to do? You guys from now on will be like pushed over here to the side, the little babies who don't want to get better because I have no time for you. I'd kick you off my team. This Philly 4x4, you'd be off my team. If we were picking a game of dodgeball or wiffle ball, you'd be the last player taken because I surely wouldn't take someone like you. This guy wouldn't even get taken in wiffle ball. How you doing? I'm taking my boy Maniac though in wiffle ball. Me and he could go get some beers after. How you doing, right? I wouldn't even pick that dude in wiffle ball. This guy here, you know what I would pick? Smear the you-know-what. I'm not even taking that guy, Youngie, in a wiffle ball game. Oh, man. Hey, how about Frisbee? Hey, some of you guys, why don't you hang on and play like Frisbee football? You know, that's probably more your style anyway. No one gets hurt and everyone can play. You know, everyone can play. And you don't have to hit anybody. Okay? Right? Yeah. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. I never played that game. Frisbee football, Frisbee golf. Oh, yeah, man. It sounds like really fun. Frisbee anything. Playing Frisbee. My wife likes to play Frisbee. Me, I don't know, man. She goes, hey, let's play Frisbee. I'm like, I don't. I have to be in the pool where I'm not moving anywhere because that's not me. Every dominant defense in NFL history has a stud linebacker. Bond is the number one re-signing priority to maintain a top defense. Trade for Garrett, dynasty incoming. I would agree. Still, a consistent passing game will actually open up the run game more. Don't tell some of the folks in here that because all they care about is crying on me. Anyway, Joe's a big bad guy. Joe's a big bad guy. It's like that guy Kevin Kincaid or whatever his name is, Kinrod, over there at Cross-Dressing Broad. Always taking his little shots. You know what kind of sports talk guy he likes? Well, what do you think? You think we should be over here? Or you think we should be over here? What do you think? Hey, you know, how are you feeling, AJ? Is it really, are you okay? Are you okay? That's the host you got on WIP now. Hey, Nick, it must have been a really tough week for you. A tough year. Are you okay? Piece of shit. Go to work. Go to work. I don't comment on weekend guys. I've never been a weekend guy in my fucking life. Hey, okay. Oh man. Sorry, man. I cannot help myself. I don't know why. Sills, do you think Bond a product of the scheme? A little bit. If so, should it be wise to let him go and put that money into Milton? It's a great take. That's a great take. How many people believe Zach Bond's a product of the system? He fit right in, though, dude. That's a spark plug that works real good in the engine. And I'm not trying to play and have my engine run one less spark plug or some sort of Devin White spark plug. I think he's a product of the system. I do. I think all of them have been. Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Jalen Carter. But that's okay. Players make up schemes. Schemes don't make players. Schemes can make players because it frees them up more. Okay? Be humble, Sills. What's that word? Humble. No. That's one thing I will never be. Humble? For what? Humble. For what? Why would I be humble? Mumble. That I do. Okay? Hey, that I do. Okay? I do mumble. But humble? No, that ain't it. You humble? How you doing there? Not humble pie. No. Hey, I'll eat a crow. I'll eat crow, but humble pie, that ain't working. I'll never eat that. My daughter says I'm the most obnoxious human being she's ever met. So just so you know, it's all good. Hit the like button, man. Is that really nice to say? Is that really nice? Oh, boy, Sills is a PR nightmare. I've heard that before by numerous companies. Bro, I've heard that before. I've been calling an office, and I've had actually a market manager and the president of a company. His name is David Fields. He walked in and he goes, I've never been in a situation where I've received more emails, letters, and phone calls about someone people want off the air more than you. And I said, well, at least you got someone that people give a shit about. He goes, I know, I get it. I understand. But it's 1,000 of them. And that guy just stepped down at Odyssey, too, as a CEO. And his father founded the company because it's in bankruptcy. Hey, nice move, guy. Instead, what you hire? How are you? Is everybody okay? That guy just stepped down, too, David Fields. Okay, with 4 void years on his deal, we actually could create cap space and extend Sweat, Williams, maybe the only player we lose. Okay? Could be. So again, your passing game. Prove it 5 to 15%, somewhere in there. Okay, right? Right? We agree with that. Needs to be improved. Okay. How much? That's your hole on your team. You have no holes anywhere else. Anywhere in the O-line? No. In your run game? No. Your wide receivers? No. Tight end? Here's your concerns. I'll do them right here off the top of my head. O-line, not one concern. Tight end, little bit in availability and no depth. Running back, no depth. Well, Will Shipley, no. Will Shipley's not going to help, and neither is Kenny Gainwell. Get somebody else's ass in there in the draft or free agency to help Saquon coming up this year. Okay? Somebody that's more reliable. Backup quarterback. I don't know. I'd like to have somebody in the room there that kind of resembles what Jalen does in case he gets hurt. You don't have to change the entire fucking offense around. You know? I mean, get this. Can I tell you why I think they have the quarterback set up the way the Eagles have it set up? Because Jalen is one of that. Traditionally, that's what the Eagles, don't you guys agree with this? Just by the forming of the backup quarterback room and who's in the quarterback room, look at the backups. That's what management wants the offense to look like. Having a guy like Tanner McKee back there or a guy like Kenny Pickett who can move a little bit back there. That's who they want. Because you know what you would have? You would have somebody that resembles Jalen. They don't have one player. They don't have one player on contract right now that resembles what Jalen's skill set is. Not one. That management wants a drop back quarterback. Is there a quarterback if Jalen gets hurt? So you're going to run RPOs with Tanner McKee? Are you going to run how many? Are you going to run Tanner McKee 11, 12 times a game? That's what Hurts does. 8 to 9. I mean, Tanner McKee can't jump over a stack of quarters. Right? Kenny Pickett kind of can. But Kenny Pickett's not known being a mobile guy. He's known for being more of a passer in the pocket. Sills, where do you draw the line? Which quarterbacks won a Super Bowl with Eagles roster? Russell Wilson, Fields, Ty Law, Love Hurts. Sills, where do you draw the line? Which quarterbacks won a Super Bowl with the Eagles roster? Russell Wilson, Fields. I don't think any one of those guys can do what Jalen does. I don't think any one of those guys can win a Super Bowl with the Eagle roster. I don't think they're good enough anymore. Russell's not good enough anymore, and Fields has never been good enough. That's just my take on them. I mean, I think Justin Fields is a really great athlete. He's a better athlete than Jalen, but he cannot play that position. He's very limited in the passing game. I mean, shit. Jalen Hurts is Patrick Mahomes in the passing game to Justin Fields. I don't think Justin Fields will ever be a passer. I mean, you want to talk about a Tyson Hill type player? That's what he kind of is. I don't think any of those players can play in Philly and win a Super Bowl. I just don't. So I'll continue. Wide receiving room, it's a little light. Outside of the two top guys, got Jan Dotson. Okay, NFC title game, Super Bowl, kind of erased kind of some of the bullshit. So you're okay there with your top three. The other guys in the room, they're nobodies. There's Johnny Wilson and these other guys. Anus Wilson, is it, or Anus Smith? I don't know. Whatever. Okay. All right. Sure. All right. Yeah, again, I mean, when you're down that low on the list, especially when you're paying that kind of money, you're not going to have a balanced room like Green Bay or a room like, say, Kansas City. All right. So do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Give me a total on the likes in the first hour. Thank you, guys. Linebackers. Oren Burks, Kobe Dean, Zach Bond, Trotter. You get Van Helsing back. That's a good room. That's a room you want to go into the season with. Okay? I'll tell you what, like I said, Dre Greenlaw is my security blanket. At $6 million, I'll bring his ass in, put him in the middle. Let's see how he plays. He's a good ball player. He's been to a ton of playoff games. And I know he's 143, not bad. That's a great first hour. Thank you, guys. Please hit the like button. Supers go to the top. Xander's going to join us at 3:30. We're going to talk to Gary Cobb at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. So please hit the like button. All right, let's go on to another topic here. Should the Eagles use the tag today? Today is the day you could tag somebody. And here are the numbers. Quarterbacks, 41.3. Running backs, 13.6. These are tags, not transition tags. Today you could designate somebody with the tag. Here's the linebacker tag. $27 million. Now follow me here. I'll get back to that. Wide receiver, 25.6. O-line, 25.1. DE, edge rusher. This is for Josh Sweat. 24.7. Defensive tackles, 23.4. Corners, 20.3. Safeties, 19.6. And tight ends, 14.2. Do you understand if you tag Zach Bond, $27 million, there's no signing bonus? It's $27 million, 1-year deal. You don't give him a signing bonus. There's no signing bonus. You don't structure that. It's a 1-year, $27 million deal. Instead of doing 3 years where you have to give the player $22 million upfront, and you're trying to get that base number down to 15, and you're kind of with an anchor around your neck for the next 2 years. How do you know he's not a 1-year wonder? That's a good question. Papado, I don't know why that number's so high. Linebacker number's 27. Actually, it's the second highest number for franchise tag of any position in the league. Even over wide receivers, 25.6. Quarterbacks are 41.3. Then the second highest position is linebackers. It's fucking insane. I don't know why. Okay, remember this. There's no signing bonus. There's no committed deals. Okay? How much of a gamble is it to give him the franchise tag versus giving him a 3-year contract? How do you know he's not a 1-year wonder? And he'll regress. He's had an insane year. Do I think he's a 1-year wonder? No, I do not. But do I think he's going to play as good as he did this coming season, this last year? I don't know. How about this? Jalen's never played better than he played in 22 on a consistent basis. That's 3 years ago. Isn't that fair? In the last 3 years, Hurts hasn't played anything near the 22 season on a consistent basis. So your best season and your worst season. Hey, that's kind of who Jalen is. Here's 22 is his best. 23 is his worst. I don't count 21. It's a rookie season. And if you get 2024 Jalen, won a Super Bowl with it. That's kind of that's who I see him as in there, the 24 year. Jalen's the 24 Jalen. That's who he is. He's not 22. He's not 23. He's the 2024. Won a Super Bowl with it. Nobody's bitching about it. I wouldn't be upset about anything I just said there. He won a Super Bowl. Who cares? You keep telling me you don't care how it looks. Senor, Super Bowl MVP. Okay. Sure. Okay. MVP. No, I'm not debating you. Okay. His last 2 games at 24. Sorry, Mr. International. Doesn't work that way. You get paid over how you play in the entire year, not for 2 games. If that was the case, you would have kept Nick Foles over Carson Wentz. Okay? That's not how that works. I can't believe the linebacker is that high. So, how about this? Would you use the franchise tag on Milton Williams? $23.4 million. That's doable. 1 year, $23.4 for Milton. No signing bonus. No commitment to years. What's wrong with that? That's a steal. He's going to get $22 million. He's going to be in there. And if you don't have to give him a signing bonus. You don't have that tie him up in years. Sweat is probably a little dicier because of the knee. They're not bringing him back. Okay? Why are you talking about this? How he doesn't use the tag? I'm asking you, guy, if it's in the best interest business-wise to give a guy who's had 1 year a contract of $27 million instead of a signing bonus and 3 years committed, would it make more feasible sense? Today is the day you designate for franchise tags. And just because that guy hasn't done it doesn't mean he won't do it. He's proved it a year ago. He spent money on linebackers, and he spent money on running backs. Give me a break. He's kind of gone out and done something different this past season. Nothing is below this guy's capability of going out and trying to make a deal. How's that for you? Was that explained enough for you? Okay. You sit back and let me take care of the topics. Okay, son? I got you covered. Do I think that they'll do that? According to Terrell, no. Hey, moron. Bro, you had an asshole take. You want to take a shot at me? Be prepared for the seatbelt to come back at you. Belt the ass. How you doing? Belt the ass. I need a t-shirt made with that thing, man. I actually like that. Belt the ass. That's what I'm going to start doing to people, man. Belt the ass. I'm sick of it. This guy sucks. This guy's no good. You're like, easy guy. Don't get butthurt there, Terrell. Okay? It's all good, man. Belt the ass. Belt the ass. He's not going to use that thing, but it's a tool for him. BTA. That's a great hat. BTA. Kansas City Chiefs. It's a good hat. Sills, if we tag Milton, then we put Milton and Davis in a position to compete to see who will earn the extension. We can keep both at the market set for top-end DTs. That's how you do it, Bob. That's how you're thinking, man. Okay? Hey, I'm gonna call Trump up and get Homeland Security back on you, Prince, and get your ass back in the hold up where you were held up for about 6 weeks. I know you, man. Don't worry about it. We'll get you some bologna sandwiches and some Kool-Aid on your visits, on your conjugal visits. We'll send someone in there for you, okay? We'll get President Trump to get you like a conjugal visit, some Kool-Aid and bologna. Would that do it? Mustard sandwiches. This guy was away for 6 weeks. All of a sudden, Trump pardons everyone. He's back in the room. All right. I don't know. He was the guy in that big buffalo hat. Here's Prince scaling the Capitol. He's turning around. Shit, they got me on camera. Fuck. And Trump goes in there, signs it, and all of a sudden, Prince is out of lockup. How you doing? It's all right, Prince. I love you. You know that. Yeah, Prince's phone number is 1-800. What was that guy? What was the attorney's name on Breaking Bad? Saul. Call Saul. Hey, Prince. Call Saul. Oh, man. Yeah. Sills, would you think about Jalen Carter's contract next season now? When paying the players on the team now. Abe, I'm going to do that here in a second. Yeah, hey, call Saul. Kind of attorney I like. He should have been a Paisan. Okay? All right. Hit the like button. Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Where are we right now in our likes? Okay. We're going to free some money up here. Who's the number one priority? Zach Bond? Rank him for me. The top 4. 158? Pretty good. Hit the like button. Give me your top 4. I'm going to get about $50 million in cap space here for you. Give me your top 4. Now, know this. Here are the guys that are eligible for extensions because of no money coming in. Lane Johnson, Darius Slay. We're going to get to Slay in a minute. Dallas Goedert. Bradbury. Graham. Jurgens. Dean. And Steen. All right. Bond, Becton, Milton, Sweat. Bond, Milton, Becton, and Burks. Okay. Here's how we're going to get up $50 million to see how many of these guys you can sign. Me? I let Josh Sweat walk. That's a savings of $38.9 million on your cap. That's it. It's more important for Howie to have that lateral space in case you want to go get Myles Garrett. You could save yourself on your cap $38.9. You let him walk out the building. He's a free agent. Just let him walk out the building. You save almost $40 million. Bye-bye. That's why he ain't coming back. Because right out of the gate there, you're saving a ton of money. Here, restructure Barkley. You can restructure him and save up and clear up $1.6 million by giving him an extension on his deal. Okay? Cut James Bradbury after June 1. Save you on your cap $4.7 million. Let's take a look at this. 38. 2. There's 40. There's 5. There's 45. Extend Goddard. On that deal, you could save yourself $4.3 million by extending him. Another 4. It's 49. And if you cut Slay, you can bring in another $4.3 million to your salary cap. It's $52 million right there, just on those simple deals I just named you here, on how you could free up cash or restructure Lane, restructure Jurgens, give him an extension. Remember, he's a second rounder. You're not obligated on a fifth-year option to do shit with him. You're not obligated to do shit with Dean on a fifth-year option. They don't have him. Tyler Steen, too. That's why they have no guaranteed money. They weren't first-round picks. That's a great thing for the Eagles. That's a great thing. Sills, isn't it a coincidence that we finally had a top linebacker in this defense? Is lights out. Got to keep Bond. He has to be the number one priority. Gabe, if you want to go down that route and go like this, do you think your linebacker play in 2022 was good? It was exceptional. You had one guy with 159 tackles. You had another guy with 117. I mean, between two dudes, you had 276 tackles between Kaiser White and TJ Edwards. There's no coincidence that your defense was outstanding, but your tackle play was better. I mean, let's not forget that season. Fletcher Cox had 6.5 sacks. Okay? Had 6.5 sacks. And Hargrave had what? 11? 11.5? You had 17 sacks between them two dudes. You had a lot of interior pressure. This year, you had interior pressure basically by one dude. There's not a lot of depth in your D tackle position when it comes to pressuring the quarterback. Even though I do think that that the backup tackles, had a pretty good season. Okay, they need more pressure, internal pressure, in my opinion. And you also need a pass rusher. You are not elite at the pass rushing. And, I mentioned it the other day about potentially packaging up Nolan's. Dude, you're going to get Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett will win you the Super Bowl this year. A guy like Nolan Smith, again, he's a good-looking young player. He's a good-looking young player. I give it to you. That guy will never in a billion years be Myles Garrett. In Myles Garrett's 28th year, he'll never be that. Myles Garrett is a first ballot Hall of Famer with 3 exciting years left. He could easily be the third best player in the league. Like, there's nobody on the Eagles better than him. Nobody. Nobody is a better player than him. The only guy that comes close is Lane. Okay? Is Lane. The rest of Mulata, maybe? No way. They're not even in the guy's world. Dude, but you could put Myles Garrett and go, is there anybody on Kansas City that's better than Myles Garrett? Yeah, Mahomes. Is there anybody? Chris Jones ain't better than him. Name me another place where you think there's a better player than him. Justin Jefferson better than Myles Garrett? That's not true. He's a less of an impact player, too. Dude, there's very few teams that have a better player on them than Myles. The Eagles don't even have one. Zach Bond's better than Myles Garrett. Are you drunk? You got to play more than 1 year to prove that you're better than the best player in the league. Okay, I mean, 17 games versus every year the guy's showing up and he's a killer. Jalen Carter is not better than Myles Garrett. Are you fucking high? Barkley's not better. No, he's not. What made you think that? One great year, you think it means you're better than Myles Garrett. He's the best. You don't have a player on your roster better. Nobody. There's nobody on Dallas. There's nobody. He's better than Pittsburgh's TJ Watt. He does more. The Giants don't have anybody better. The Jets don't have anybody better. Shit. Myles Garrett or Trevor Lawrence. You can keep Trevor. I'll take Garrett. So when you say that, draft picks are important. I'm like, what are we talking about here? We're talking about one of the three best players in the league, right? Fuck that. Myles Garrett, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and if you draft a guy in the draft, or Jalen Hunt. By the way, it doesn't have to be Nolan Smith. It could be someone else. They may want Nolan Smith. Hey, by the way, would you trade Jalen Hunt and Zach Bond for Myles Garrett in a 3? Would you? Hey, think Ferrari. Think Ferrari. Okay? Pat goes, no fucking way. What are you drinking? I don't think you get who he is. Hey, you're playing the projection game. I'm playing the factual game. I know who this guy is, and he's going to be that guy for the next 3 years. I don't know what that guy's going to do. You're playing the projection game. That's not facts on Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith is really in a conversation with Myles Garrett. You're fucking drunk. You have nothing to stand on except projection that you think he's going to be a great player. I know this player is a great player right now. One of the top 3 players in the game. Garrett is not fucking old. Dude, anybody who has a conversation like that has never played the game. When you watch what that guy has done in his career, if he was anywhere else, okay, you'd be talking about him even in a higher light. I hate having ignorant conversations with people sometimes about electric players like this, and he wants to play in Philly too, which is even crazier. Nolan Smith. I don't give a fuck about him. So here's Myles Garrett's last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. 14 sacks, 10 sacks in 10 games. 12 and 14, 16 and 17, 16 and 16, 14 and 16, 14 and 17. This guy's got 102 sacks in 8 years of play. He has been the Defensive Player of the Year a year ago, and he's been AP first team 4 of the last 5 years. And what are you talking to me about again? Okay, I mean, exactly what are you talking to me about? Seals, this team wins in the trenches. Becton Milton should be priorities 1 and 2. I agree. Send Nolan 2 firsts for Garrett. That's how we run it back. Love Bond, but would take Bolton too. And I would take probably Bolton over Greenlaw because of the injuries. Dude, as long as you have Jalen Carter in front and maybe even Jordan Davis, you're going to have a good linebacker group. These guys are better than the 22 guys. They play a better run game. Okay? Now, look, it doesn't have to be Nolan Smith. It could be someone else. You've got the equity on the team. Okay? You've got the equity. It doesn't have to be Nolan. But if you think you're going to get a player like, dude, do you know what people are talking about with Myles Garrett right now? 2 ones and a ball player. And they really don't – your first-round draft choices don't mean shit. Well, they do. But Cleveland needs a quarterback. What are they going to do with the 32nd pick in the draft? You might even have to make it a two-team trade and add another team so that the draft picks make sense for Cleveland to get him. Because Cleveland doesn't need the 32nd pick. Cleveland needs a quarterback, which means they need a premium pick. But they want to get his ass out of the AFC. So they're not going to send him to New England. Why would I send Myles Garrett to fucking New England? Keep him in the conference? Great. That's not what I'm looking to do. And with Mike Vrabel up there, that's not exactly what I'm looking to do. Right? So, I mean, the Browns, Daniel's right. The Browns want picks. Okay. However, the Eagles have players too, though. That's the asset the Eagles have. The 32nd pick is a decent pick. It'll fall in line with what they need to fill. They got a lot of holes on that team. They need to get better in the O-line. They need to get better in their secondary. They need to get better immediately in their run game because Chubb is now a free agent. They got to improve a lot of areas in Cleveland. I think Cleveland might actually have the worst roster in the NFL. And what's Garrett going to do there? He's got $79 million of money he's willing to renegotiate left on his contract. Bro, you know what Howie could do with that? Rip that thing into pieces and shred that fucker up. I saw Myles hit a quarterback with his own helmet. Love it. Was that in the Steeler game he did that? When he was going against Pouncey? Mike Pouncey? I think he took his helmet off and hit him over the head with it. He got fined pretty good for that too, man. I think he lost some games and some big game checks for that. Hey, what would you be willing to give up? I mean, look, we're talking Myles Garrett here. If you've ever watched him on tape, hey, right now, saying that Nolan Smith will be 80% to that is high. You think you're going to have 7 years of 14 sacks out of him over the next 7 years? Would you sign Chubb 1 year deal? Man, I think the guy's in. He's a really good talent. He's not expensive. He's not expensive, but do you want to go down the Rashad Penny deal again? You know, I mean, the guy's been hurt the last 3 years, pretty significantly too. You know? So, I mean, Eagles don't need an elite edge rusher. They need depth or above average talent. Well, you're losing both your ends. Right? I mean, you're losing a D lineman in Milton and Sweat. And those guys were limited in pass pressure anyway. Now, they had great conference title and Super Bowl games. Not taking that away. They earned a ton of money doing it. Stills, people are crazy. So, no Hurts, Carter, Mulata. Okay. What do you want, Cleveland? That's the fucking flash man. Next to Carter would be unfair. It'd be unfair. That'd be the best roster I've seen since those Dallas rosters. Or maybe the Baltimore Raven rosters when they had Suggs and they had Reed and Lewis, the guys in the middle. They're secondary guys with Woodson and them. You put Myles Garrett on that team and you let him and Vic, what do you think Vic Fangio? Okay, how many people think that Vic did a great job with Nolan this year? I happen to think he did a great job with Nolan. How many people think he did a great job with him? Jalix Hunt too, right? Let me show you something here. DeAndre Swift and Myles Garrett, or Miles Sanders. Those guys were good football players here. They were really good football players. By the way, Miles Sanders had the fourth best rushing game season Do you understand this? That in the last 3 years, the Eagles have had the fourth or third best rushing season in team history and the best rushing season in team history. In 22, Miles Sanders had 1,300 yards rushing. I think it was good for third or fourth all-time in Eagle history. This year, they had the best. Why? They upgraded the position. What do you think Vic Fangio, instead of having Jalen Hurts, and no disrespect to the names, and Nolan Smith, what do you think he would do with a guy like Myles Garrett? You think he would travel him? Move him around like Lawrence Taylor? What do you think Vic would do with a guy like Myles Garrett for the next 3 years? Putting that guy with him. You think he can come up with creative ways to rush him and not have to bring blitzes? Okay, so you're giving kudos for Vic and what he did this year with Smith, Jalen Hurts, Zach Bond. What would you do with a legendary player like Garrett? According to Vegas, Garrett's second most favored place he lands is Philly. And it's kind of close. Howie can create $50 million right off the top of his hat in cap space because of the guys that don't have guaranteed money coming their way. Those are the candidates, okay, that you have. Those are the people that would be more open to having it. Lane has no money guaranteed his way this coming season. You restructure that guy, get his base of 17. I think he's owed 17 this year. Get him down to about 12. Shit, man. You're going to free up a lot of money. You could land this guy. But again, Cleveland's going to want something. And your 32nd pick, albeit pretty decent, they're going to want players. See, here's the thing that New England has that you don't, and there's the things you have that New England doesn't. New England's got the picks, but what is that? It's a crapshoot. The draft is a crapshoot. Get good players and a draft pick. Now we're talking hedging our bets. Again, this is all shit that, and there's even whispers about a contract extension for Nakobe. I'm not there for that. The kid's never played a season where he's completed it and not been on the injured reserve. $30 million for a guy who never has finished a year since he's been in Philly, not on the IR. I mean, is that somewhere you want to go? He's proven he can play, but he's also proven he can't stay healthy. And he's going to miss the first month of the season. What they're saying, I don't know that for a fact. Okay? All right. Dude, we got a ton of shit yet to get to here. A ton of stuff here. We get the topic page up. We're going to bring Xander in here in a second here. Yeah, I heard Xander talking about the hold on. There's only one hole, but you win a Super Bowl. Okay, remember that. Nolan Hunt in the first to get it done. No way. That's not. I'm not giving up too much of my future. I'm not doing that. I'm not giving Hunt and Nolan up. I'm not doing that. I mean, that's too much of my future. First and those guys. Let's Sweat and Milton walk. Tag Bond. $27 million. You don't have to give signing bonus money. I get it kind of, but they're not going to probably do that, but it makes economic sense. And you can get to see if the kid's not a one-year wonder. And plus, it gives you time. But I doubt they'll go there. Trade for Garrett, bada bing, bada boom. How you doing? All right. All that being said, but hey, news already today with the Eagles. Without further ado, Make sure you guys keep checking out our friends at Birds 365. They do one whale of a show, and the co-host of that with John McMullen, who also does a great job, is my guy, Xander Krause. Here he is, folks. Big Z, Xander Krause.
What's up, Sills?
How's it going, dude?
Good, man. How you doing?
What do you make of the news? TJ Pagnetti ends up going to the Saints. Kellen hires him as the offensive line coach. He was the assistant in the run game to Jeff Stoutland. Probably makes sense. You want to get a guy after working with Jeff. You see what he did,
right,
and how he developed those players there. So we kind of said, we went down the list of all the coaches 2 weeks ago. We said these would be probably some of the guys that Nolan or that Kellen would look at. So probably makes sense, no?
Yeah, no, probably does. Probably does make some sense. But I think if I'm not mistaken, he's one of the only two coaches that have been here
17.
for both Eagles Super Bowls. So now it's a big loss. He's a young guy, so he's one of those guys who flies under the radar. He doesn't get a lot of headlines, but I would imagine Kellen Moore is looking for his version of Jeff Stoutland, a younger version of Jeff Stoutland. So good hire by Kellen Moore. Actually, I think Kellen's done a pretty good job assembling his staff so far over there. So he's done a good job. But I think it's one of those things you'll be able to prevail. But I think he could have great success over there. I really do.
You hire the right people, you're gonna
right, and you learn from the right people, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So whispers are going around the room now that Jacoby, who has no money coming to him, no guaranteed money, I should say, coming to him this coming football season here. Third rounder, doesn't have a fifth-year option. You get it done a little ahead of time. You can drop that salary and that base. Would you be open to a 3-year, $27 million deal?
For Jacoby?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a little premature on him. I mean, he's dealt with a lot of injuries in his career here. And, Howie doesn't typically pay linebackers. So do we think he's going to go out on a limb for Jacoby with Zach Bond up in the air? I don't see that, but potentially. I mean, I like the player. I think they like I think it's more than just his football abilities with some of these guys. I think they like what he brings to the locker room. They like, that defense, let's be real, that defense has had a turnaround in mentality and mindset and focus and approach and all of those things. And I think Jacoby's been a part of that. So I wouldn't be mad at it because, look, if you tell me they extended him for 3 years, $27 million, we've already seen enough Howie Roseman contracts to know that thing is going to look so team-friendly and so favorable. They're going to front-load money. They're going to add 4 void years on the back of it. The cap hits are going to be damn near nothing, and you're going to have some stability at linebacker. So it would not surprise me at all if they were going down that road. But that's a lot of injury to do a guy like that right now. Yeah. So
especially with him going into the year with not knowing what those first 4 games are.
I've become a big Jacoby fan, though. I will say, I had my questions on him earlier in his career. I just didn't see the size. I didn't think he was going to be able to make an impact, but he's a feisty player. He plays downhill. He doesn't wait for the play to come to him, right? He reads it and reacts faster than most do at that position. And I think that's what I love about him most, but got to stay on the field, man. If you can't stay on the field, you can't help us out. So I think he's got to stay on the field, and then, by the way, that injury he got is not a great injury. That's a tough injury to bounce back from. So we'll see on him, but I think I'd rather go Ballin, honestly, if I had to pick one.
How about this? Every year he's been an Eagle, he's finished his season on the IR.
Right.
So, right. I mean, it's kind of a Goddard conversation here a little bit. You know what I mean? I mean, you're going down the route. Hey, the player can play, but is he going to be available? All right. Do you think today, which is franchise tag day, that Howie will use it all, any of it, or do you think he passes on it?
I think he passes on it 100%. All right, I did some research, looked into some of the times that Howie's used.
Lito Shepherd, was it?
No, not Lito. The last one he used was actually in 2012 with Deshaun Jackson. And if you remember it was not a disgruntled franchise tag type of thing. It was Deshaun wanted to be, if I remember this correctly, I was young, but I look back on it today, and he wanted to be paid like a top 5 receiver in the NFL. The franchise tag got him there. And then I think they worked out a 5-year contract on, during that period. So they worked it out with him. It was not a thing like that. And then if you go back and look at a couple more, I think they used it on Vic in 2011. So they don't use it much. I mean, you're talking about 12 seasons, 13 years of no use of the franchise tag. They're not about to start today. And I think that's a good thing. I don't think good organizations who draft well, who build teams in the trenches well, who do things well, franchise tag people. And I don't think they're going to franchise tag anybody today.
Franchise tag is there for cheap teams.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Teams that like Cincinnati, they're talking about putting another tag on T. Higgins.
Yeah, now I think I did read some more about that last night because I was interested in what the hell was going on there. And I don't know, maybe they're trying to work out a deal with them. Maybe they're doing that. But you know the Bengals, dude. You know the Bengals. I mean, they're going to go the cheapest route possible. So, gotcha, Elizabeth. We'll make sure we get to those. I'll make sure we get to those. I don't think any franchise tag is coming. 2012 was the last one, and nothing is coming. Nothing is coming on the franchise tag front, and I think that's a good thing.
Okay. What would you be willing to give up for Myles Garrett?
You know, I'm listening to some of the stuff, and hey, I love Myles Garrett. All right, I really do. But if you're talking to me about trading any of these young perennial defensive guys, I don't see it.
They're not perennial.
Okay.
That guy's perennial.
He's perennial. You're right. Wrong word. If you're talking about any of the young guys that we see as a core around for this defense in the future, you don't do it. Because Sills, and I get the player, and here's where you're right. You're right in that you're not trading trash cans to get Myles Garrett. You're going to have to give somebody good. But that's where I say, okay, then let other teams do it. Because we just had the number one defense in the NFL. We just made Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid look like a fool in the Super Bowl. I mean, I get it. I want the player. I love him.
But
he's a game changer.
You're not going to surrender stability.
I'm not going to
continuity to try to, because that turns it upside down.
It's too much. It's too much. I don't want to do that. You know, Drew says, I don't know, Big Z. That guy's pretty good. Drew, you're right, brother. But we were just the number one D. Drew, how much better can we get? How much better can we get on defense?
With him?
We can get better, but my point was what we had today was enough for us to cross that finish line by a wide margin. Should you take some of that formula, put it in the trash can, and replace it with something? I don't know.
The only reason
I love Garrett.
Wait, the only reason, though, we're talking about this is because we're talking about him.
Right.
Okay.
He is that good.
He is that good. Kind of shaking the bottle a little bit and looking at it going, now, wait a minute here. Over the next 3-4 years with this roster, will we not agree that's probably the window here? Any Super Bowl team, you're talking 3-4 years, somewhere in there when you have a lot of young players, especially on one side of the ball. Actually, you don't have a lot. Well, you do have a lot of young players on the offensive side of the ball, too. So you got a pretty good roster. I think I saw 26.7 years of age. I think you're talking here. So,
and I want to give you a scenario before we move on from this because, you know, it is an interesting topic. And where Sileo is 100% correct is that this is one of those players that you're going to listen to everything. I mean, it doesn't mean you're going to make the move, but you're going to listen. He's that good. All right. But here's my problem with it. All right. You have the number one defense in the NFL, as I just mentioned. You have Josh Sweat, who's a free agent. Right now, they're projecting him to make $18 million. I happen to think that's right in the ballpark. I think he's going to get between 16 and 20 million, somewhere in that range. All right, for Josh Sweat. So if you trade for Myles Garrett, and I think Sileo is right, it's going to require a guy like a Nolan Smith or somebody like that. Now I'm out Josh Sweat and I'm out Nolan Smith, and I've added Myles Garrett. I've depleted draft capital, and I've taken up more cap room. Okay, isn't the smarter option as a football team to I'd rather just re-up Josh Sweat at that point at $18.8 million. I don't give up any assets. I keep all the young guys. I can do a 2-year deal where Josh Sweat's out of here by the time Nolan Smith is due for an extension. And you keep the band together. You keep the guys you just had in the room together and then build on top of that. Or take Nolan, get rid of it. Take draft capital, get rid of it. Take your cap space, get rid of it. And I'm still an edge rusher short. As good as Myles Garrett is, you're going to need to bring in an edge rusher if you trade one of those young guys. So I don't really see And I get it. He's
too much turnover.
Too much, right? I mean, too much turnover for me. And I don't
You're
think that makes
you're
sense.
already light. You're already light at the edge.
Yeah, I think you need to add an edge anyway. I really do. I think Howie's adding an edge early in the draft or a potential free agent. So I now maybe if you're going to say, all right, don't trade Nolan, don't trade Jalix, and maybe look to the offensive side of the ball and trade one of those guys. I mean, who's a name? All right. And everybody, look, there's no name I can say right now that you guys won't get pissed off at. And I understand. But if you're talking about Myles Garrett, you're not talking about trading Will Shipley. You're talking about trading Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, somebody like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what
you're not trading at. Fred Johnson.
Right.
So,
and I don't want to trade Devontae or A.J. So I look at the whole Myles Garrett situation as if our picks aren't enough, it's a pipe dream for me.
How about right now if you packaged up Mekhi Becton and a first for Myles Garrett, you think they'd bite on that? They need O-line help, dude.
What was it?
Mekhi Becton and a first-round pick.
In like a sign-in trade or something?
Like that. And for Garrett.
See, I'd consider that. Because I feel pretty good about what Stoutland's going to do in that offensive line. I know it might not sound sexy, but you're talking about, remember, with this is going to be Josh Sweat walking out the door. So you lose one guy on the offensive line and a prospect at 32 to add a perennial guy on the edge to replace Josh Sweat. Now we're talking. Now
you upgraded your pass rush.
Now I don't know if they'll bite on that.
What?
I don't know if Cleveland will bite on that.
See, Cleveland would want something else.
Yeah.
A future 2 or something.
I agree.
Okay. They're going to want, but you'd pick the phone up if you're Howie.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Myles Garrett. Howie's going to pick the phone up on everything. I was listening to an interview from Howie Roseman. I forget what show that was on. What show was that? It wasn't a recent interview, but he was talking about the process of hearing teams out. He said in the interview, I never, ever, ever, ever want to be the GM that gets a notification on my phone that a player was dealt to another football team and I didn't at least have the chance to match that offer or better. Because how do I respond to the fans who say you want my team to get better? How do I respond to the owner who expects me to get his team better? So Howie's whole point was, I keep an open line I tell everybody, even if it's a lot, even if you think I'm going to say no, come to me and ask, come to me and talk to me about it. And not everybody does that because they know Howie's a good fleecer, but I think it's a credit to him for keeping those lines open.
Yes.
So he's going to hear out some options. I mean, anything Silio's saying right now, it's likely that somebody will run it by Howie. All right.
Yes.
Cleveland might call and say, hey, if you give me Nolan Smith in that one, I'll make that deal right now. Not saying he's going to do it, but they'll listen. So I think that's a credit to Howie Roseman. And if you're talking about Becton and a 1 in a sign-in trade, I think that's a deal that Howie would consider because you feel good about what you're going to do with the offensive line. By the way, I think 32. Now, if you're going to trade that, I think there's a lot of good offensive linemen in this draft. Just from what I've looked at so far, not tackles. You're talking about interior O-line guys. I think there's guys that Jeff Stoutland could get his hands on and do something with. So that would be something they would consider.
You know why that position over the last 3 years has produced quality guys? Just for shits and giggles here. Why most of the time you're going to get a really good player if you're getting an O-line. The reason is because the COVID year in there, most of these O-linemen now are coming out of college older because, again, it takes a little more time to develop those positions, that offensive line. They're coming in ready to play. That kid, Barton, who plays down with the Bucks,
dude, there's a lot
into the bucket.
You're right. There's been a lot of young offensive linemen,
and they walk right in and start.
Yeah, it's not just the offensive lineman either. By the way, I saw a stat today about Jaden Daniels. He's 1 year younger than Jalen Hurts. Think about that. Jalen's got 4 years starting and 5 years in the NFL. He's a max contract guy. He's been to 2 Super Bowls and won one, and he's 1 year older than a rookie That's pretty crazy.
That's because of COVID and the transfer.
COVID and the transfer portal, which is a change in college football, which, I think
Bo Nix. Bo Nix is like 25.
I know. He's an old ass dude too. I think the NFL probably looks at the whole NIL thing in college as a net positive because players are getting more developed. I think, you get more experience, different coaches, different looks. If you don't play, you can transfer out and go play somewhere. You get more reps, more experience. And in a way, the cream will always rise to the top. And the cream is more polished when it gets there. So interesting way to look at it, but I think it's true.
How about what Marcus Hayes said yesterday? And, I threw out there, what were some of the most unexpected things that you saw this year? And he said the number one thing for him was Quinyon Mitchell's play at the cornerback position. He goes, nobody on the planet thought that a guy's going to walk off at the Toledo practice fields and walk into the NFC East and play like that the way he did. He said that, and plus DeJean and those two rookies. Isn't it funny? Every time I bring up a topic to him, he's got a column in the hopper. And what he's doing, I thought it was dope, but I really liked it. We talked about it. He said, hey, if you see that column, I go, it's all good, dude. We love having you on here. So, I thought that was interesting on what he said because they did hit.
Well, breaking news right now. Looks like Doug Nussmeier is going to be gone. All right. So looks like Doug Nussmeier is going to be gone. It's not officially confirmed, but here's Josina Anderson, who's typically pretty good. And he said, I'm told the Saints are currently working to finalize a deal with Eagles quarterback coach Doug Nussmeier to become the team's next offensive coordinator. Makes a lot of sense. He's been with Kellen the whole way through, and he's now going to be gone. So I don't know. Not to interrupt you. Sorry, Sills. I know I interrupted your topic.
Well, that's worthy.
Yeah, I wanted to update everybody. Now, if I'm looking, now correct me if I'm wrong here. All right. You got Doug Nussmeier gone. You got TJ Paganetti gone. All right. Now the run game specialist and assistant line coach, or an offensive assistant, Kyle Valero, might be going too.
Yep.
Now you're looking at, you need an offensive coordinator in Philly. You need a pass game coordinator in Philly. You need a QB coach in Philly, right? And you need a run game specialist, assistant O-line coach in Philly. Yep. So all of a sudden, we got a lot of freaking holes on our coaching staff to go and fill in. Just from Kellen taking one or two guys, it creates all these openings. So, and if Kevin Patullo gets elevated as well, you're going to need a pass game coordinator. So you're looking at 4 or 5 openings right now on this Eagles coaching staff that they're going to have to fill in.
And they have not addressed yet in New Orleans what the D-line coach could be. That could also be Clint Hurt.
Yeah.
I know there was conversation with him. I doubt he leaves.
He didn't interview yet with him.
No,
and Christian Parker.
What I heard also is that he's looking for a DC job. He's not looking for another D-line job.
And you can't laterally move, right?
You can't laterally move like that. Right. So they'd have to elevate him to assistant head coach. And I don't think Kellen's in the room for that. So, like I told people, every team is different, man. You're ahead of the game because you got a deeper roster and you got an organization that's won. And here's the thing, too. With all the changes that Howie has done over the last 5 years, he's used to this. This is something that is not catching the organization with their pants down. This is what they do. They replaced almost an entire staff last year, didn't they, on defense?
Yeah, and they've done pretty good at obviously getting that. Now they got the right guy in the room at the coordinator at the top, so that helps. But they certainly had good position coaches too. It's actually insane if you think about it. Now I know we just lost Doug. I know we just lost Paganetti, but are we not going to lose one defensive coach after that year on this Eagles defense and what they were able to do? That is a win. That is a win.
Personally, what happened was a lot of those teams that had openings at the head coaching job, majority of those coaching staffs got filled right away, even before the Super Bowl. And so they didn't wait around for the Eagle guys. And the Eagle assistant coaches, it's kind of against them a little bit to get elevated, but it helped the Eagles playing so deep. Yeah. I mean, you're for them to only lose 2 or 3 dudes that were not coordinators, like you said. Now, the Nussmeier move, and I think the Pagnetti, I think those are pretty good losses there because, again, that guy's been there for 2 Super Bowls. He wasn't a guy that was just
Pagnetti's a big one. Paganetti's a sleeper. I've actually talked to Paganetti's brother, Ryan, who worked with the Eagles as well in Super Bowl 17. And then he was with the Jaguars with Doug as well. So he's pretty cool. But no, that's a big loss. The Paganetti one's good. I mean, been under Jeff Stoutland for like 8 years. That's a long time. Yeah.
Bro, he is got to be one of the hottest names out there to elevate for O-line coach. You've been a protege of that guy for the last 7 years. You're sitting there under him and you learned every single thing. I would love to have him as my offensive line coach.
Yeah.
That is a great hire here. All right.
I don't have any bad blood, by the way, toward Kellen at all. And a lot of people are like, okay, stop. It is what it is. It's business. I thought,
that's how Nick got his job.
And I thought, I kind of thought he was pretty, and credit to you, by the way, you called this out way early that the Eagles learned from 22. I thought he was transparent. Like, you kind of had an idea the whole way through, like, okay, now Kellen's one of two. Okay, Mike McCarthy just dropped out. It probably looks like Kellen's going to be the Saints head coach. And this was a week and a half before the Super Bowl. So the Eagles have had chances or have been, they're not done. They know what's going on. So they're going to be ready to go to fill in everybody. But yeah, Kellen poaching a couple guys is not ideal, but it is what it is.
No, and I think that's how business goes. And like you said, that's exactly what you're going to expect, especially when you win the way you do here. Okay, well, all that being said, now with Musmeyer, should the Eagles improve the pass game? And the reason I made it so vague is because, can you imagine this? You won a Super Bowl and you don't really have a passing game. And people will say, well, we brought it out when we needed it. Okay. Well, don't you think consistency, if you were able to get the passing game elevated more, it creates more balance? I'm talking about a 70%, I'm talking about a marginal. Wouldn't that help Hurts keep the offense evolving? Everybody talked about how stagnant and how stale the offense was a year ago because it wasn't evolving. Aren't you trying to evolve this thing here?
Absolutely.
To make this offense be better? Now, again.
And that's not – now, here we go. Here's a case of the Sileos, okay, where there's just something about the way you say it, Sileo, that gets people going. But absolutely. Look, you reach the mountaintop and you think you go into the offseason, you put your feet up on the desk like this, and you don't do anything? I mean, come on. This team's going to do some stuff, man. This team's going to try and improve, no doubt about it. But here's where I disagree with you. The narrative that they have to do it is complete and utter fucking bullshit, because I just watched this team win a Super Bowl through the air when Spags took away
they
the
don't
run.
have to then.
This team, well, I'm not saying – I think they should. I think it makes you a more versatile team.
That's what me, because I'm on this. Wait a minute. You want to hear something? You don't have to fucking disagree with me, because I agree. You just won the fucking Super Bowl running.
Right. You don't have to do anything.
Are you going to, though? Because you know why? Yeah. You have built the roster that way.
Right. It wouldn't hurt either.
Marcus even said it. You know what? He gave Howie no credit yesterday for Saquon Barkley. He said he fell into that. And I kind of go, well, you gave the guy $9 million. It wasn't like you gave him $4 million and he just fucking showed. I disagree with that take with Marcus. Dude, I mean, he goes
Marcus like this. I'm not going to lie to you. Marcus was saying a lot of goofy shit last night. I didn't like a lot of what Marcus was selling yesterday.
I was like this. I go, wait a minute here, man. I go, you're not giving Howie any fucking. I go, isn't Howie the MVP? I even said that. And I never say that. And he goes, hell no. Barkley was the MVP. You don't really think he brought that guy in and he was going to be the centerpiece of the. And I went, no, he got lucky with it in a way. And he goes, lucky in a way. He was. And I'm like, wow. Not giving Howie any credit for that. I'm like, he did sign the ball player. I disagreed with that. So again, my question was, okay, so if you're not, you want to?
Yeah, of course. Of course you want to, man. Of course you want to. My whole thing was, though, you don't have to. You're world champions, and you won it in ways that you didn't think you were going to win it.
You won it one-dimensionally, basically, and then
no, that's not true.
And then when the quarterback was asked to make plays, he did. And we've seen that before. with the
He
Eagles.
did.
I mean,
So you have to
let's
balance.
not get crazy here and think that Hurts like had a better like postseason than what Foles was insane. We've seen quarterbacks in Philly have 2 great games. Foles was more insane in
No,
2000.
I don't agree with what you're saying.
Okay, well, really, I got the
No.
numbers here.
No.
Here's Nick Foles' numbers.
There's more than meets the eye, silly.
Won the Super Bowl. Here was Foles' postseason: 23 of 70, 77 completion, 246 in the divisional game. In the NFC title game, he went for 26 of 33 for 78 completion percentage and 352 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. And in the Super Bowl, he was 28 of 43 for 373 and 3 touchdowns. And here's Hurts. In the Green Bay game, 13 of 21, 131, 2 TDs, no touchdown, no interceptions. In the divisional game, 15 of 20, 128 yards, no TDs, no interceptions. In the NFC title game, 20 of 22 for 246, a TD, and I think he had like a couple rushing touchdowns in that NFC title game. Super Bowl, 17 of 22 for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns and 1. I mean, you're trying to tell me you think he
shows I just woke up from. I'm in a class at Harvard. All these fucking numbers.
Wait a second. Are you trying to
tell me you were a football guy?
Okay, I am. Foles totally outplayed that guy.
Nah, I don't agree.
Oh, okay. Go back and watch the tape. I remember what that guy did in the NFC.
I think both of them were awesome. I think both of them were. Well, here's the thing. Here's the difference, though. Foles had a great moment. Jalen is now building a great career.
Yes.
A great and that is what is the difference between the two guys. Yes. I'm not saying, look, if you want to sit here and tell me Nick Foles had more yards and he did this in Super Bowl, okay, that's fine. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. The two teams had completely different personalities, but Jalen Hurts is building a career, a resume in Philadelphia that can now not be disputed, and that, in my eyes, is the biggest difference between the two guys. But to get back to the passing game thing. They're going to work on it. They're going to 100%. Silly is right about it. They're going to be working on it.
I'm with you. How much do you want to fuck with something that got you the gold medal?
And look, I think their formula proved that.
That's why Petula makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't view it as any negative thing at all. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles had a unique circumstance. They had a running back who was primed for a bigger role and a better offense with a better offensive line that literally ran the most yards ever by a running back in the history of the National Football League. You cannot leave that out when you talk about the passing game. The passing game wasn't as big because you had that. When they needed the passing game to win, which were the 2 biggest moments of the year in the NFC title game and in the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts made those plays. If you go back and they needed him to do it in the Pittsburgh game when they had held Saquon at 65 yards, Jalen Hurts did it there. When I look at it, okay, and I now have the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of looking at the whole year, they were 17-3, right? Or no, 18-3, okay, in a 21-game span in the 24 season. And every time we needed Jalen Hurts to throw, with the exception of the Bucs game, when he didn't have Devontae or AJ or Lane Johnson, Jalen Hurts threw enough to win the game. So are they going to work on it? For sure. Will they work on passing concepts? Absolutely. Do I think we have a problem in Philly that must be addressed in order for us to repeat as champions? I do not believe that at all. But I do believe we're going to work on it. Yep.
I'm just looking to get better. I'm not looking at
Agreed.
Okay. I'm just looking at making the team better.
Agreed.
Right now. And to the point that you made, I mean, dude, I ran somebody over. Can you imagine this? Having the passing game that you had this year and you still won the Super Bowl. I'm talking about the ceiling is so high. Yeah. The ceiling is so high for you to improve that you won this. You were so dominant. You won it with a one-dimensional offense the majority of the season. And for the record, Xander, I'm talking more about a passing game that's consistent, like from week in and week out. I'm not talking about you being able to do it in an NFC title game or a Super Bowl. I'm talking about making it even more difficult for defenders to have to defend that offense. Because I'll tell you, Kansas City probably did the best job of any team in the league this year against against the run game of the Eagles. Would we not agree? They did the best job of anybody. Held them to 6. But Hurts in the passing game was so good in the passing game. Can you imagine if you had that going week to week in the NFL? You would never be touched.
But here's the thing. It is tough to quantify, Sills, though, because I can count on one hand how many times Saquon was shut down. So you didn't have that many opportunities, like you said. Every other game we won by just running. We didn't need to throw it all. But there's a saying I love, all right? And my brother uses this all the time. All right. He always says, train to be hard to kill. Hard to kill. Hard to kill is not you're good at one thing. Hard to kill is that you take away this, I'll kill you with this. You take away this, I'll beat you with that. So that's what the Eagles are going to try and do this year. Become harder to kill, harder to take out, harder to beat. All right. And with the better your passing game is, in addition to that run game, in addition to that defense, the harder you are to knock off. Okay. And that will make you a better team. Balance is a good thing. Being versatile is a good thing. It's a beautiful thing. And the Eagles, I thought, to their credit, were pretty good. I mean, I thought they were pretty balanced outside of those first 4 weeks where they had 2 of their 3 losses. They won every other game. You know, the only game they lost was when the quarterback was not on the field. So it's hard to look at the year and be like, well, if they did this better, they would have been better. They couldn't have really been that much better. They won every game after
That's why the question is, do you do anything at all?
Well, I think there's a natural evolution in life that if you stay stagnant, then you're going backwards.
That's what happened a year ago.
Right. You can't stay stagnant. And that goes for anybody. That goes for you sitting there watching the show. That goes for you as a talk show host. That goes for me as a business owner and a talk show host. The same thing. If I stay stagnant, if we stay stagnant, then we're on our way to our deathbed. That's it. The minute you stop going up, you're going down. So you got to evolve it a little bit. But
you want me to give you? I'm going to give you. I heard something a couple times from some of the guys that we've had on the program that are some of the Philly legends. You know, the one thing talk show hosts don't do that my wife was one of the greatest producers of all time. Your reference points. You can't use. You know how many people don't know who Dan Marino is? People in here will know who Dan Marino is, but you know how many masses of people? I walked into a place to rent a car the other day, and I asked 10 people in the room if they knew who Dan Marino was, and they were all in their 30s.
Did you really do that?
What's that?
So, did you really do that, Sileo, in a car rental? Hey, do you know Dan Marino?
No, I did. I turned around and looked at 10 people in the room. I go, "You guys know who Dan Marino is?" They go, "No." And my wife looked at me and she goes, "See, it's reference points.
Right.
That's why the older guys that can't stay on the air, you know why? They're talking about fucking Willie Mays. I mean, instead of Mike Trout. They're talking about
who's your reference point in today's game?
Oh, it's Mahomes.
Yeah.
If you're going to reference an older player, you always have to bring it present. If you're going to reference Tom Brady or Elway, you always have to go Mahomes, Hurts, somebody that people can have an idea what the reference is. Because if you're doing this, well, Elway versus Marino, 18 to 29 or 1834 is going to go like this. Who the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
So again, I hear people doing that all the time.
Can I ask you a question real quick before we continue?
Sure.
There's the age-old football debate that many people go back and forth with all over the web still to this day. Is our wins a quarterback stat? How do you see that debate?
I know I heard Marcus say yesterday it was. I don't think it is. And I'll tell you why. Your salaries aren't predicated on it. If you look at every high-paid guy in the NFL today, I mean, you think Justin Herbert's paid on his wins? Is Trevor Lawrence? How about Dak Prescott? You think these guys are paid on wins?
Yeah, but ready? Let me give you a good rebuttal for that, for what you just said. Who's the greatest quarterback of all time?
Tom Brady.
Why is that?
Because he won.
Because he won.
But he won with nobody around him.
Yeah, but when you talk Tom Brady,
qualifies a different. He didn't play with one Hall of Famer at wide receiver or tight end until Gronk, in his entire wins until he got to Tampa.
I'm just saying though, if Here's where I struggle with this debate because I understand both sides. It's a team game, first of all. This isn't an individual game. It's a team game. But how can people say to me, Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, when he's the greatest quarterback of all time because of the wins? If you're going to say that wins aren't a quarterback stat, that's cool for me. But then don't you have to say, okay, Dan Marino is the greatest quarterback of all time?
Greatest passer of all. You would make
or Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all times. Right? Because then you truly believe that wins are not a quarterback stat. So why would Brady get credit for the 7 ring? Now, you said he won it with lesser, but anybody else, go through anybody else that has a bunch of rings. Montana, Jalen Hurts. Why is Jalen Hurts on your top 5 list?
Because of the resume.
So that to me makes me feel like wins have to be a quarterback stat. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. Patrick Mahomes is the only guy getting close to him. Why? Because of wins.
But okay, so like if
you see what I'm saying though with it?
I do. But it goes to this point. Okay. You also have to give credit to where the organization was at that time too with Brady. Would you not agree that the coach that was in New England is also the greatest coach in the history of the National Football League and just didn't build an offense? He built the #1 defense with what he did in a roster. That's why every great quarterback has a great head coach teamed with him, because that coach builds the roster around him to make it a team sport. I mean, name me a great coach, and I'll name you a great quarterback. Vice versa. Mahomes and Reed are present here.
Sirianni and Hurts. Woo!
Sirianni and Hurts.
That is a legendary duo.
Hey, I will tell you this. You better pray.
Mahomes and Reed.
You better pray this guy don't hire a Brian Johnson again, or you'll be sitting back on the doo-doo line.
Well, you think the promotion from within is not a good move?
I don't know. Last time you did it was a shit show, was it, or was it?
I don't know, man. You're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong. The last time they did this, promoted from within, it didn't end well. It didn't end well. Now, here's the funniest part. Me and John brought this up this morning. It was so interesting because I was thinking about this after the show. And we were talking about Brian Johnson. And we were talking about how funny it is that Kellen Moore got a head coaching job when, look, if we're going to call a spade, okay, Kellen Moore was brought in here to improve the passing game. That's why he was hired as the offensive coordinator. He didn't improve the passing game.
I questioned it from day one.
He didn't improve the passing game statistically at all.
At all.
And the offense from this year and last year are both ranked number 8 in the NFL. The biggest difference with the football team, obviously I know Saquon, but I'm saying overall offense, both ranked 8, is the #1 defense versus last year, the 31 overall defense.
Isn't that a team?
That brought up the question, though, Sills. If Brian Johnson was the offensive coordinator and he had Vic Fangio in the #1 defense, he might be a head coach somewhere in the NFL today instead of back as a quarterback's coach in Washington.
And when you fired him, he was 10-2.
Right. No, you didn't fire him at 10-2. You fired him after the year. Remember, you fired Desai.
That's right. That's right.
But,
You're right.
But still, the point is so funny in that.
By the way, every one of your wide receivers and quarterback, they had statistically outside the turnovers for Hurts, everyone had career years last year.
So it's an interesting thing how, the team success is ultimately the biggest factor because, come on, man, if Kellen Moore had the 31st ranked defense, this would not be cutting it. But he's a head coach. He got an upgrade. The guy got upgraded. He didn't do his job. Sileo, I hired you to make a great talk show. You did everything else except make a great talk show, and you get promoted. I mean, it's funny.
See, get this. And he's making $10 million a year now.
Is that what he's getting?
Yeah.
In New Orleans?
Yeah.
That's a shitty fucking organization, yo.
$10 million a year over making 2.5. And people wanted him to stay in fucking Philly. Come on, dog.
Not happening. Look, I did think it was funny. I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, man,
I really don't think the win-loss thing's you think it's a quarterback stat?
Well, I understand both sides of the argument where people, it's a team game. How can it be fully a quarterback stat? But again, the thing I struggle with is, all right, let's say for a second, for the sake of the conversation right now, wins are not a quarterback stat. Okay, fine. Most people who have watched football for a long time, if you took the winning completely out of it, would not call Tom Brady the best quarterback of all time. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree.
So that's where I'm like, well, if we all call Brady the GOAT, then we are all collectively acknowledging that wins, at the very least, are somewhat of a factor in a quarterback evaluation.
How about this then? What if Joe Burrow this year had the #1 defense?
I mean, he'd probably be pretty fucking good. They probably would have went
How
pretty
good do you
far.
think Cincinnati would have been if Vic Fangio had that defense in Cincy instead of the 28th ranked defense?
Yeah, so we did our top 10 quarterbacks last week. I've adjusted my list already.
Okay, let me hear him again.
The only one I adjusted was Burrow. I had him at 5.
What'd you do? Move him down?
I swapped him and Lamar. I put Lamar at 5.
Okay.
I had Lamar at 3.
Who are your
Mahomes
top
at
5
4.
again? Who are your top 5?
Hurts, Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, Lamar.
Okay, let's see here.
And once we settle into the offseason, if I go objective fully, and I'm going to go Mahomes 1, Hurts 2. Because Mahomes does have 3 rings. I mean, I can't, guy's got 3 rings. Right now, though, me and Sileo did a 2024 ranking. I put Jalen at #1. Burrow, not too high. I'm sorry, I don't agree. I think Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and it's not relatively close.
If I were to go just on pure talent here, and again, you'll never, I told you this, you're never going to hear me not put Hurts in the top 5.
We'll see when that expires. That right now, Sileo has a thing hanging above his computer screen. Expires May 31st.
No, September 8th.
Yeah, September 8th. I was looking for training camp.
Yeah.
Expired. I'm sorry.
Hey, he gets out. He starts out in that game on Thursday night with 2 picks. He's down there 20.
Oh,
How you doing? Hey, wait a minute. I got Allen, Mahomes. If I had to adjust it again and just go off of pure talent, Allen, Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, and Hurts. I got to put Hurts in there somewhere. So I got to
Justin Herbert fucking stinks. I'm so done with
I
people.
don't have Hurt.
I know you don't. I know you.
Oh.
I just a separate. Just
by the way, that's what's his name's favorite. That's Marcus Hayes' favorite.
Yeah, I don't give a shit, Marcus Hayes. You said a lot of dumb shit yesterday, and that was one of them. Justin Herbert is literally trash juice. The guy has never even won a playoff game. I'm sorry. If you're a top 5 quarterback,
if wins don't matter,
playoff game.
If wins don't matter, how's he making more money than Jalen?
We just got done saying wins do matter.
Oh, wait a minute. They didn't matter when he got paid.
That pay is different.
Oh, it really?
Are you telling me that now if you get a max contract as a quarterback, you're going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time?
No, it's flawed.
Patrick Mahomes makes $45 million.
So wait a minute. So wait, you're going to pay for Kyler Murray $49 million for that guy, and people are going to go, he's $49 million. Do you think that guy's a $49 million guy?
No, I don't. That's part of the NFL. I mean, that's not a good way to evaluate, because if you're the next guy to get paid,
Sam
Darnold's about to get $40 million a year. You paying that?
I think you're fucking low, dog.
I know. I was just going off of what Baker.
I think that. Hey, by the way, Gary
Baker
Cobb
type of deal. Baker got what, 30?
Gary Cobb's going to join us at 4:30. So
all right, let me set him. I thought
let's do the supers here.
All right, let's do it. Fucking Sammy Darnold. You gotta be kidding me. Sam Darnold, man.
I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a Kirk Cousins 48 annual deal.
You're right. He's gonna get it. That's why I don't go off pay like you do. Justin Herbert. Playoffs come 4 picks. Playoffs come 3 picks. Trevor Lawrence 4 picks. These guys fucking stink when it matters.
You think Jared Goff makes $54 million.
Jared Goff at least won a playoff game.
An NFC title game, too.
Yeah. Well, that was a while ago.
Do me a favor. Gary doesn't have the link.
Yeah, I know. He's getting it. All these people freak out. Gary, it's coming. Don't put Gary in my crosshairs now. I love Gary.
Look at you, man. You got I saw you taking a shit on somebody earlier today, man.
I was because this isn't a place where I'm going to invite somebody in to just oh, it's open season and we shit on. No, if you want to shit on me, you're going to get shit on back.
Hey,
all right?
I told people earlier, man, you think because you pay fucking to come on here that has a right that you can take a shit on me? You came to the wrong house.
I have been grilling people, though.
I know. But you're starting to take it out on John, though, too, so you better.
Good. I'm going to keep it going with John because today, oh, my God. And I'll tell John this, so you don't have to. I'll tell John. Today, in the latest Birds 365, McMullen tried to tell me that Bryce Huff actually wasn't that bad this year. He was actually not bad this year. Are you kidding me, McMullen? You got to be fucking kidding me. Holy shit. Oh, my God.
Hey,
that was worse than any of Sileo's takes.
Hey,
Twitch says, John DiFilippo, another name to look out for. Yeah, that's true. We used to have him on the program. You remember that, Twiz?
Yep, John DiFilippo. That's a great name here. Let's get these supers, man, before Gary
That's what it is. It's a super, Sileo.
I got you. Go ahead.
I think we got this one already. We did. Who did we miss? We missed Dre. Dre said Garrett is best, but for how long and how much money? Yeah, I don't.
The remaining 3 years, you're only going to be paying him $79 million, bro. That's all it's on his deal.
I'm not mortgaging the future, the depth. And Nolan Smith is making how much money is Nolan Smith making this year?
Got to be making 1.5. It's a rookie contract, dude.
That's what I'm saying. So
and he's a
Nolan Smith's annual base, his 2025 base is $1.8 million. Yeah. So, okay, Myles Garrett's a better player. Yes. Are you going to pay Myles Garrett multiple ones, a great young player, and $40 million? Is he going to be that much better than the guy who's giving you 10-plus sacks at 1.8?
Let me ask you this. Over the next 2 years, who gives you a better chance to win a Super Bowl, Nolan Smith or Myles Garrett?
Well, if you do like that, no shit, Myles Garrett.
Well, what the fuck are we doing here?
No, because that's not all that goes into it.
It's not.
You're not trading Nolan for Myles. If it was that, then we all know what we do because you have a window, right?
Oh, you're adding other things now?
Multiple ones don't mean anything? Multiple ones?
Wait a minute.
You're going to be
actually picking. It's a 30-second pick. You're making it sound like you're picking in the top 5.
I didn't say that.
Right.
I didn't say that. Twiz, I'll get to it. Twiz. Dre says, we got that. And who do we miss? Gabe? We miss Gabe? Sure. Let's get to Gabe here. Remember, Garrett kept that shitty Browns team in close game with us, completely wrecked the game. Yes, he did. He is that good. Nobody's saying he's not that good. But Gabe, you want to get up?
Xander's talking about ripping the page up and kind of like that. To be, I hate that too. I hate that more. I do hate that, Xander.
Remember, you got Sweat walking out the door, and now we're tossing Nolan and Jalix in a trade, bro. Come on. Twiz says Nolan 4.5 sacks in the playoffs. Where's Garrett's stats?
You're right. Oh, you're right, Twiz. Nolan's better.
I like it, Twizzler.
Look at Twiz.
4.5 in the playoffs.
Twiz taking a stack and how about this here? This guy's averaged 14 sacks for 7 straight years. You're telling me you think Nolan Smith is going to do anything remotely close to that? You're high.
That's not what Twiz is saying. But
what's he saying?
Isn't what bad teams do is they take the young guys on rookie contracts and they trade them for guys that are making $40 million.
Let me ask you this. What do you think a guy like Vic Fangio could do with the talent of Myles Garrett compared to a talent of Nolan Smith for the next 3 years?
Yeah, but that's not
the talent is increased with Garrett.
There's no doubt. Right.
But
I'm not.
So if you have Vic, look what you did in the O-line and in the run game when you elevated the run game at the running back position when you brought in Saquon. Bringing in Garrett would be like bringing a Saquon Barkley type defender to your defense.
Yeah, but you got to sacrifice a lot of shit to get it.
You're right.
I signed Saquon on the open market. Didn't cost us a penny. Didn't cost us an extra asset.
No, didn't cost you dick. I think it's just a compensation pick New York gets for that because of free aid. I don't know.
It doesn't come from us. Aren't they comp picks?
No. It comes from the league. The league divvies that up. Yeah.
So I don't know.
So does it? No. You're right. He's not a free agent. For the record, once again, you're not trading Fred fucking Johnson or fucking Myles Garrett. They're gonna want. Hey. Would it shock you if they came in and went like this? No. We'll take a 1 and Cooper DeJean.
No, fuck off. Cooper DeJean is going to be a Hall of Famer. Hall of Fame white boy at corner. Let's go. We ain't trading Cooper DeJean, Cooper DeJean, Cooper Shiesty. We ain't trading Cooper DeJean. No way.
Here's Andrew this
morning. No way. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Cooper DeJean. No way, Sileo. No way.
Man. Yeah. Huh?
All right, so.
Hey, wait though. You're right about the turnover. I'm going to get Gary's take. So how about this? I'm going to offer this to Gary. I want to see what he says here. We'll talk about Nussmeier getting the what did he get? Offensive coordinating job?
Yeah, it's not full. I mean, let me double check. But last I saw it was Josina Anderson, who's typically pretty good, who says the Saints are working to finalize the deal with the quarterbacks coach, Doug Nussmeier, to become their next offensive coordinator. So that's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Okay, I'm going to offer Gary this. A 1, Nolan Smith. A 1 next year.
How about no deal already?
Hold on. For Myles Garrett. Nolan Smith, a 1 this year and next year for Myles Garrett.
I'm saying no because we just had the number 1 defense in the NFL. So how much
the number 1 defensive player on the number 1 defense?
All right. No, you're going to give up a young player. Nolan Smith's 23 years old.
Nolan Smith will never be the player Myles Garrett will ever be.
I don't care. You don't rip up young rookie players on rookie contracts. Get rid of them for
a 30-year-old
guy. That's what bad GMs do.
So wait a minute. What are you projecting? Are you projecting him to be a 14 sack a year guy?
I didn't say that. I said what you have to give up to acquire Myles is not worth replacing Nolan Smith. By the way, Sweat's out the door too. Now you got 2 edge rushers gone.
Well, wouldn't I want the best player in the league?
All right, you're gonna.
Hey, let's get to Gary.
I'm not saying he's not a good player.
Hey, I know you're.
All right, you have a good segment. Let me see. I'll see what Cobb says.
I appreciate it. Make sure you check Big Z out.
All right, thanks everybody.
John McMullen, awesome stuff. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Let's bring in our friend Gary Cobb from Fox 29. Big Seals is getting killed everywhere. I'm on CNN the other day for taking a shit on me here because I had a horrible Barkley take. Gary.
Yeah.
First and foremost, let's get to the news of the day here. Before I get to this Myles Garrett here, how much of a loss do you think Doug Nussmeier is to the offense and to the play caller, and how important will it be, and who that guy is named if it is Kevin Patullo, the new OC in Philadelphia? Just your takeaway on it.
Well, I think that without a doubt, it's a big chance. You don't know, but from what I understand, and I know that he definitely, with Kellen Moore, he was a guy that he was running everything by. So they're kind of like that. So I know that, he was part of the intelligence that got them, the championship that they have. So from what I understand, they're like 2 peas in a pod. Everybody knew that once Kellen Moore left, he was going to go to. And, sometimes coaches have that type of relationship. So it just means that, they got to do a great job of coming up with somebody to replace them, because really those guys go together. They got very close relationship. And from what I understand, he had as much to do with calling the plays that Kellen Moore ran everything by him. So, if a guy's with you and his heart is somewhere else, he might as well be somewhere else. So he probably should leave with Kellen Moore because they were that close. So that's understandable, but it means the Eagles have got to, I would say, they examine everybody that's on the staff, but there's not a guarantee that the guy that they need is on the staff. See, but I think because of the fact that they just won the championship, that hey, if I'm a play caller and I could come here and be right in the middle of everything, there are a lot of guys you figure that would be willing to leave a job with a bad team to come here with a team that's got a chance to win the whole thing. So I think that they still have a very attractive situation, and it's just a matter of them going to work and getting the right person who fits the talent that they have. See,
how about this though, Gary? The last time they elevated from within was a disaster.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm not all crazy about just elevating, from within, because most of these guys now, there's got to be the right guy, but they've got to be exceptional because they have not been, they haven't been the ones really calling the shots, because really the two people that were running the offense just are taking off. See, so I would probably be leaning more to going outside, and finding somebody that is they've got to have a strong personality. They got to be very confident. But I don't guarantee just promoting from within. I don't buy into that. I
think this bleeds more into Frank Reich than what people think, and I'll tell you why, Gary.
I agree.
How about this, Gary? I mean, the question I think now that you're going to look, and also too, TJ Pagnetti, the assistant run game guy, is now gone to New Orleans. He's now the new offensive line coach. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's been there since 17. He came in with Jeff Stoutland. So now they lose an assistant in the offensive coaching staff there, another one on top of that. And I say this to you, Gary, how much of the passing game, somebody asked me what I thought the hole on the team was going into the offseason. I go, well, it's the passing game. You want to evolve it. You want to get better. I mean, how much do you want to get better with it? And doesn't that dictate on who you hire? Because if I bring in Kevin Patullo, how much more are they really going to elevate the passing game? 2%? 1%? Are they going to stick to what they did a year ago? Because the passing game, Gary, let's face it, the passing game, they were not balanced. They did not have the balance that you're looking week in and week out for them to be able to elevate next year. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree with you, and I think that they got to be thinking, look at all this talent we got to throw the ball to. I mean, we need to be able to make things easier. And are we expecting Saquon to carry the ball as much as he did this past year and carry this offense? I don't think it's reasonable to be continuing to expect that or asking that of him, because what is he going to be at the end of the season, as he's getting older? So I would say you would like to bring somebody in that can take this passing game to the next level and make it consistent. Now, you still got Saquon there. You still got a great offensive line. So you still have that run threat there. But it's got to be more balanced, which will make stuff easier. It's going to make scoring easier. So I would say that they need to look around, the NFL, and I would lean towards them bringing somebody from outside rather than promoting from within. I'm not sold on the promote from within because, the guys that are here, they were not calling the offense. The 2 guys that were running that offense are leaving. And so they need to really think about getting somebody from outside, as far as I'm concerned.
How about this, Gary? We had a debate today, and we've been talking about this. Second landing place that's favored by the Vegas guys and by many people around the NFL is Philly next to Washington. Washington has a ton of money. They're going to be able to free up. Gary, this is what really makes Howie great. There's no guaranteed money for these players. These are some of the top players they have. Lane Johnson, Darius Slay, Dallas Goedert, Bradbury will be cut. Brandon Graham, Cam Jurgens, Nakobe Dean, Tyler Steen. None of these players have guaranteed money heading into the 2025 season. So I ask you, what would you be willing to give up for a guy like Myles Garrett? Or would you stand pat? And as you know, having turnover is one of the things a lot of organizations don't like to do. They don't like the word turnover. Yeah. They like to be able to elevate and player develop. Would you stick to what you're doing with your guys, go in the draft? Could you imagine you end up putting, we'll just use Nolan. If you think Nolan could be in the deal, you got Nolan Smith, Myles Garrett, and you've got Jalen Carter, and you have Jordan Davis. That's your front 4. I mean, and you put those backers that you had a year ago in there. I mean, Gary, you elevated your defense, and you're gonna continue to improve on your defensive side. That's the side of the ball I think they have to continue to improve on. Not the offense. They just got to get smoother on offense. Yeah, what would you do?
man, that's woo, that's a tough decision. My goodness. But man, because having him there coming off that corner, man, woo, man.
Gary, 7 years in a row, he's averaged 14 or more sacks.
I mean, the guy's a monster. He plays hard. He would be great, a leader for the younger guys. He's not a diva. He would be a guy, boy. I mean, I would entertain really making the deal. I would really entertain making the deal because I'd say he got 2-3 years, big time years left, and the other team got to double team him. I mean, who are they going to double? They got to double team. They can't double team all those guys.
If you had Carter and Myles Garrett on the same line, and get this too. Here's what I just told Xander. I just said this to him. The Eagles elevated the running game by having a guy like Barkley. If you put Garrett on that side of the defense, that's like Saquon Barkley going on that side. As good as Nolan Smith will never be that player.
No, he's not going to be. Yeah.
He's not going to be that player for the next 3 years. You're telling me you're talking about 40 sacks in 3 years. What that would mean to that defense where they're limited already at defensive end and rushing. Now, they were better in the playoffs. Boy, but I'll tell you, man, I mean, this guy's a first ballot. I would say this to you, Gary.
Yeah, he is. He's a first ballot. He's a first ballot. You're right.
Myles Garrett's probably the third best player in the league.
He could be. Position. I mean, you could be right. I mean, he is a dominant force every time. Whether you're double teaming or not, he's a force in the game, and he's been that way for years. So he definitely is nothing to sneeze about. The thing about it is I look at what they did, and this is why you would rather be able to. I mean, it's tempting, but you would rather be able to develop young players who you don't have to pay yet. You don't have to pay them yet. So that's something to think about, man. That's a tough.
Hey, Gary, you and I walk by a Ferrari dealership all the time. We look over and go, God, I'd love to have that car, but I'm gonna stick with my Acura. So I'm gonna. You walk by that Ferrari place, you see that Dino every day, and you're like, damn, I wish I could have that. There's certain things, though, and I'm just good with my little old Acura over here, so I'm good with it.
Well, the thing is, your bank account is healthier. See? Your bank account is healthier
right.
Without you going over there. So I do know what you're saying, and but I think that if you keep the same guys there that are working with your defensive line, boy, those guys, look how much better those guys got during the season. I mean, to where they finish off with the performance they had in the Super Bowl. Now, look, those guys weren't playing like that at the beginning of the season. I'm telling you, some of the guys, you say, you know what? I need to put you on a bus, to somewhere else. You look at some of the players, some of these same guys. That's why the assistant coach are working with these guys. They really are the reason that this team just got so much better as the season went on defensively. Come on. That was not the same defense that started the season.
Yeah.
Not even close. But all these players, the defensive line improved drastically. The linebackers improved drastically. And the DBs, all of them grew up during the season, which is something I have never seen anything like that. I mean, maybe I saw something kind of like that in college, because you see a college kid maybe develop, but it's not as complicated a game.
Yeah.
But it's amazing job. Now, if they can do this again, where you can go get some young players and you get these guys to develop them, and at the end of the season you got a defense like that, then we don't need Myles. We can make without Myles, but that's tempting. It depends on how much it costs. How much does it cost in the quality of players you got to get rid of. You know.
Wow, Gary wanted to send a couple guys on a bus to Piscataway. All right. Hey.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's something to think about. And I know Howie's sitting there right now at his desk thinking about this. You know?
All right. How about this one here? Word's going around that because there's no guaranteed money. You know how he likes to get ahead of the process.
Yeah.
Nakobe Dean, an extension, 3 years, $27 million. My problem with that is this. He's never played an entire season in Philadelphia, not ending up on the IR.
Yeah.
He's ended every year on the IR. He proved this year, Gary, he can play.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Inside that system. But my question would be, and we don't know they're saying he's going to miss the first month of the season heading into this year. So,
yeah, I heard that.
How do you look at him and his future?
Well, I think he has a value because I don't know if they're going to be able to bring Zach Bond back. I don't know if they're going to be able to sign him. I'll tell you. In fact, I would really go on to say I think they're not going to be able to sign Zach Bond because I think he's going to get on the high, more than 15. I think he's going to get a year. I think he's going to get that somebody's going to give him that.
Washington.
And and if they give him, I don't know that the Eagles can match that.
Or how about this? Willing to want to match that. Because I'll tell you what I would, Gary, I would go get that kid either Bolton or Dre Greenlaw, and you put Dre Greenlaw, Oren Burks, and Nakobe Dean in the middle with those two defensive tackles.
Yeah.
Now, Gary, do you think that here? Let's ask the question about Bond. You think he was a product of the system, the product of the two guys playing in front of him? Obviously, he showed great ability to be able to adapt to that defense and play great. But how do you know he's not a one-year wonder?
Well, and that's why I was talking about the go and get that inexpensive car. I'm telling you, I think that's the way they're going to go because they're not going to be able to sign everybody, and I think they're going to be thinking, can we develop these players? And so because I think they're going to let some of those guys walk, man. I do not think they're going to.
Josh Sweat is supposedly a market value of $18.2 million.
Hey, stay in touch. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. There's no way they can give him that kind of money, man.
Milton Williams' number is 12.4. I think he's going to get 20.
Now, I don't see how you're going to be able to keep those guys. You're going to have to.
If you go get Miles, Gary, there's only $79 million left on that contract. You let those other three guys walk, draft a kid in the draft, put him on a rookie deal. You got him at 1.5 a year with that rookie contract. You got Myles Garrett, you got a rookie playing the other end, and you got Josh Sweat, and you got Jordan Davis in the middle in there. And potentially, like you said, if you want to spend more money, you go put Zach Bond back in the middle.
Yeah, I think they're going to go that way. I don't know whether it's going to be with the linebacker position or the defensive line, but they're going to go on the young and cheap. I think they're going to have to do that. There's no way they're going to be able to pay all those guys, and it's a matter of who do they want to let walk. And that's something to think about because I think Zach Bond, I think he's legit, man. The guy's because a lot of the things he's doing on instincts and smarts, not where just because he's a great athlete, smart, and that kind of thing, it doesn't leave, it doesn't leave. So I think, he plays smart football, and he really helped the whole defense play smart football because a lot of times he was calling the signals and things and being able to keep people in the right, get them in the right spot, put them in the right defense and have them lined up right, depending on what they're looking at with their offense, the opposing offense. So I think he could redo that. I think he could have another great year, but there's no way they're not going to be able to keep all these guys, man. they're going to have to play with some young players again this year, and so some of those guys are definitely going to walk. It's just a matter of who's going to walk.
Let me go here then. Listen here. Is he back or is he on the market, Josh Sweat?
On the market.
On the market. Zach Bond.
I'll say he's back.
Zach Bond's back. Okay.
Yeah, but
Becton.
Becton's going to have to walk. I don't see how they're going to sign money more than that.
$12.2 million. His number is. That's for a right guard, Gary.
That's not bad. That's not that bad, really. At that guard position. But the thing is, they're spending so much money with all the other guys. I don't see how you can keep. I don't see how you can keep him.
Milton Williams, is he here or gone? Wow, gone.
Because what he's going to want 15, right?
Oh, he's 15 to 20.
He's 15 to 20. I don't.
Javon Hargrave got 20.
Yeah, I know. Howie's been able to work miracles, but I don't know how you keep these guys that want $20 million. I don't see how you can pay them. Well, you got all those guys on the opposite line making 20. You got all these other guys making money. I don't see how. Maybe Howie can work it out, but I don't see how you do it. And I think you're going to have some young players. They're going to have to step in quite a few of those positions. On the defensive side of the ball, they're going to have to step in there, and they're going to have to be developed. And hopefully we'll get the same thing we got last year.
Hey, Kerry, all I'll say in closing here is that, everyone's like, well, the Eagles have the best O-line. Well, that's because it's the richest O-line.
Yeah.
I mean, the left tackle's making $21 million. The left guard's making 20.
That's right.
You got the center on a rookie deal. If you want to keep Becton, you're going to pay him $12.2. And the right tackle makes $25 million. Well, shit, man. You better have the best O-line.
That's right.
Get your money's return there, man. Get this.
That's right.
2, 4, 6, 8. You're spending almost $100 million of your $275 million salary cap on 5 dudes.
Yeah. That's amazing. You know what? That the offense is going to have, they got to carry the show, man. And of course you got in that backfield, those guys making money, and look at the receivers. So that's the highest paid offense in the league.
Oh, by far. Last one here for you, Gary. I threw this out. Tell me if you'd be a fan of this. So Najee Harris is a free agent. He's going to want between 6 and 8 million. All right. Saquon Barkley had over 424 touches this last year.
Yeah.
Depending on how much you want to change the offense. Can you imagine having Najee Harris and Barkley running the ball for you with Hurts back there with that O-line? You sign him to a 2-year contract. I don't know what not. He's gained 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league. About 1,100 yards in Pittsburgh. He's 26 years old. You put Najee back there to keep the treads on Barkley. He's your main horse. I'm not saying he's not. Najee is back there with him, helping him out. Maybe you win another Super Bowl with the same style of offense.
Maybe
you increase your market value. What people don't get, Gary, the hidden gem with the Eagles is this. Last year, Mekhi Becton signed a contract for $2.7 million. He's going to go on the open market and look for near $13 million. Look at the market value. Look at Zach Bond. He signed a $2.5 million contract, or $1.8 million. Now he's going to get potentially $15 million. If you play in Philly, you're going to improve your market value. So that's what I do if I'm Najee. Would you be open to something like that?
I would be open to something like that. I definitely, and that's the way I would be out there selling these guys. I'm going, look, you can find a better place to showcase your talents than come in here. We're going to be going after another title. You come in here. We can't pay you that money this year, but you're going to be getting paid next year, buddy. If you come here, and we're going to have you in the spotlight. So that is a way to sell the team, and I do think it's something that they're going to try to do. But again, the key is going to be the young players that are on the team right now, and these young ones they draft. They're going to have to develop. They're going to have to develop players because they're not going to be able to pay all those guys on that defensive line. So they got to develop them. So hopefully they'll do as good a job this year as they did this past year. So we'll see.
Absolutely, Gary. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you.
Hey, tell them they can send. Hey, you tell them they can send some of that money this way too.
hey, man. We were just born. Hey, now get this too, Gary. 71 guys make an NFL team. Okay, when you and I were there, 47, 43 guys were on a roster.
Hey, man.
70, Gary, you'd play for 30 years if you played in today's NFL.
Believe me.
71 players make a team, counting the practice squad.
Hey, I don't even want to comment, man.
Hey, Gary, and those practice squad guys make $300,000.
Yeah, I know. Woo! Hey, they're getting paid. Hey, this is what we fought for. So hey, tell them to spend that money wisely.
That's for damn sure. Gary, thank you, brother.
All right, hey, have a good one.
You got it. The great Gary Kopp from Fox 29. Make sure you check him out. Yeah, today in the NFL, 71 players make a team. 71. Okay, I mean, back when we were in the league, man, 43 made it, 47, 43, something like that, 45 guys. I forget. It was in there somewhere. I think it's great, though. I'm not belly aching. I'm glad that the young guys have, more jobs. And if they get this 18th game, they're probably going to add more to the rosters. They should have them. Like you said, it's kind of what you fight for, man. You want all these guys to have opportunities. Plus, there's another league now, the UFL, the Arena League starting up again. So it's all good, man. Absolutely. Hey, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We are going to talk about some of the draft picks, also what to do with some of these draft picks, but our good friends at BetUS. Boy, man, we've had a great season with them, and all the places that you want to do any kind of business with when it comes to putting money down and making prop bets and such, it's our friends at BetUS. Make sure you check out our YouTube 150. Its sign-up bonuses up to $2K. Your second and third are 125%. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. The fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year, live wagering on all major games. That's betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales! How you doing? I want to keep Nolan Smith, and I want to keep all my young guys like Jalen Hunt and not take Myles Garrett. Well, here's what people in Vegas are saying. On the teams that have the best crack at getting Myles Garrett, plus 300 Washington Redskins, plus 450 the Philadelphia Eagles, plus 500 staying with Cleveland, plus 550 the Bills. Bills are in cap hell. Plus 650 to Detroit fucking Lions. And plus 900 the Bears. Holy shit. You put Aiden Hutchinson and Myles Garrett on the same defensive line? Holy cow. There's your favorites to win the East. There's the favorites to win the NFC. Myles Garrett improves them big time. Holy cow. Oh, Myles Garrett to Detroit. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, and I agree with Yale. How about this? You push the whole picture, or you push your chips in and say the 25 is going to be our year, or we're not going to win it for the next couple of years. Ooh, wait. Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson. Hutchinson was leading the NFL in sacks before he got injured. I think in the first 3 weeks he had 6 or some shit. And then you put that guy on the other end. Holy cow. That'd be something to keep an eyeball on. Damn. Hey, it'd be Lions and Eagles and everyone else. I mean, the Lions, you knew. I mean, I didn't really think that Washington was going to take them apart like that. Washington beat them handily. Like, the injuries caught up with them, man. Holy cow. You imagine that? He had, Kyle, he had 8.5 sacks? No way. Aiden Hutchinson didn't have 8.5 sacks this year. I think he played in 4 ball games, no? He didn't have 8.5. No way. No way. He may have broke the rate. He may have had over 20. Okay? He may have had over 20 if he ended up doing that. Holy cow. 8.5. If he really had that, that's insane. All right. I wrote down my top 4. My top 4 rookie classes for this year in the NFL. Here are my top 4. At number 1, I've got the Washington Redskins. Jaden Daniels, Mike Sandstrom, cornerback, and Brandon Coleman, offensive tackle. All 3 starters, and one of them is the rookie of the year offensively. Number 2, I got the Rams and Jared Verse, edge, Brandon Fiske, defensive tackle, and Cameron Kitchens, safety. Number 3, Giants, Malik Neighbors, Andrew Phillips, and Tyrone Tracy. These are all 3 starters. And for the Eagles, Cooper DeJean, you can throw Jalen Hunt in there. Who would have thought that? That the 3rd best rookie coming out of that rookie class would have actually been Jalen Hunt, who was taken in the 3rd round. Hey, Jalen Hunt actually now has shown he's worth a 3. I thought it was the stupidest pick on the planet. He's actually, if you go back and you look at that pick now, you look at it and go, okay, you see where they evaluated him, and their evaluations look like they're right. Me, that kid needs more reps. Now, how many people will say this? Who do you think will have a better career, Jalen Hunt or Nolan Smith? We would say Jalen Hunt has had a better first year than what Nolan Smith did. No? Right? I mean, he's further ahead in his development. Why would you say Nolan Smith, his first 2 years, he stunk? Jalen Hunt's first year, he became an impact player. Towards the end of the year, he had an impact on the 3-man rotation, did he not? I mean, Jalen Hunt's first year versus Nolan Smith's first year, it's not debatable. I mean, I'm going by his rookie year compared to Smith's rookie year. Sometimes guys take a little longer to develop. Okay? Sometimes it takes a little longer. Nothing wrong with that. Hunt's lateral pursuit is incredible. Actually, if you watch him on the 22, you could tell who's coaching him. Philadelphia is developing him. He got better. Nolan Smith totally got better, but so did Hunt. So the edge guy, along with Clint Hurt, and the development that those guys have had has been incredible this year. I mean, they really developed. Jalen Hunt developed into something. Remember Vic, what he said at the beginning of the year? Oh, he's a project. Those were Vic's words. He's a project. We'll see what happens. Brandon Graham goes down. Brandon Graham actually, I mean, I've said it before, him getting hurt absolutely was the most important thing to the development of Nolan Smith. He even shocked the Eagles. The Eagles would never have gone out and spent money for Bryce Huff. They never would have spent that money if they knew that Nolan was going to develop. They would have drafted another kid in the draft. They would have went out and got another dude. Here's Forrest. Robert Saleh got Huff to produce 10 sacks, but Vic couldn't get him to do much. That's because Forrest, Philadelphia asked him to do a completely different thing. He wasn't able to. Forrest in New York, he was a situational pass rusher. He played 425 snaps in New York. Okay? They wanted him to play 800 snaps in Philly on first and second down. He can't play first and second down. For John McMullen to say that guy, again, we can debate that. John thinks he wasn't as bad as what we watched and saw. Okay? That's not how I look how Vic used him. If you think that, let's just take John McMullen's word and say, okay, Bryce Huff wasn't as bad as we thought. Then you tell me this. Prior to the playoffs, the Eagles activated him off the injured reserve list. He wasn't hurt at all in the playoffs. And the more the games went on, they used him less. To the point in the Super Bowl, he was a healthy scratch. If he was so hurt Why didn't you just leave him on injured reserve and end the season? Why didn't you do that? If they didn't, I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, Vic didn't even want him activated for the Super Bowl. You don't get rewarded because you played pretty good by being deactivated as a healthy scratch. Vic Fangio didn't even think he played well. How in your right mind do you think he played well? I mean, Alex Hunt was getting his reps. Kid named after the toothpaste. I mean, or something. I think Cornell, Colgate, I don't know where the fuck he played. I mean, look at the actions of the team. I mean, the team will tell you what they did here. Okay? Colgate. Oh, sure, all right. So he must be smart. You don't get into that school being a dummy. You don't get in that. And then he transferred to that school in Houston. Okay, sure, I don't care. I mean, he's turned out to be a heck of a talent where there's something there. There's something there. All right, hit the like button. Guys, give me a number on the likes. You guys have been great today. We appreciate you. Here's a topic that's going to be a tough one. By the way, hang on. Sandra, I got to do a Morgan & Morgan here. Then after this, I want to talk about Darius Slay. Guys, we got 242. Let's see if we can get to 300 likes by the end of the program here. Hey, don't forget my great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Guys, we're so proud to get John Morgan on the program a couple weeks ago. I think it was during Super Bowl week, actually. And we wanted to introduce you to Morgan & Morgan because they're one of the greatest law firms there is in the country right now. They're the number one injury law firm in America. And with over $20 billion in recovered assets for their clients, this is what makes Morgan & Morgan's resume second to none. Here in PA, I told you about the family that got a $650K resolution to their issue. No way. Morgan & Morgan went in there and got them $26 million. That's who they are. In Florida, a family got $350K. No way. Morgan & Morgan and their team of thousands of attorneys went in there, and they ended up getting that family $12 million. If you're ever injured, please check out my great friends at Morgan & Morgan. The fee is free unless you win, okay? Got to win. And for more information, go forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Also, give me a total on where we are on the likes. Always love to be at least the benchmark of 300 likes for a show. You guys have been great the last 6 months. You killed it. We appreciate it. Super chats go to the top. You know, for me, this is my wheelhouse right now. Okay, I mean, I love the offseason. I really do. I love the offseason because, again, there's so much content. Because this is where the majority of your football teams are made. If you're going to be a championship repeat, you're building your team now. Look at the work you have to do. You have a ton of free agency to work with. You're losing coaches. Now, are you ahead of the game? Dude, I would definitely rather be Philadelphia than Carolina. I'm not saying that. You're starting up here as the king. And your roster can withstand losing of players or making mistakes on them because you've done so well. Am I saying that, look, you got a lot of work to do? That doesn't mean you're not. Two things can be true here. You can be in a good position, and you can have a lot of work to do. Yeah, that's a great one. I like this. That's pole position. Yeah, you're like at Indianapolis. You've got the pole. That doesn't mean you're going to win the 500, but you've got the pole right now heading into this season. This is what makes repeating so hard. Okay? This is going to be a better chance for you to repeat than what you did after the 2017 season. Why? Because you're younger on defense. That's exactly right. And hey, if I had to put like the first couple rows of teams, I think Kansas City is going to take a step back. Here's my first 4 rows. Here's my top 4 teams. Right now on February 18th, Philly, Detroit, Washington, Buffalo, KC, Baltimore, I don't believe Minnesota. I don't. I'm going to put San Francisco here. If 2023 could be a down year for you, they can have one. I'm going to put San Francisco at 7. 8, I don't believe the Rams. They're talking of trading Stafford. I'm going to put Houston Green Bay. Who would I put at 10? Tampa? The Chargers. On February 18th, this would be my top 10. Philly, Detroit, Washington, Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, San Francisco, Houston, Green Bay, and the LA Chargers. That's where I'd go. I'm not putting Denver in there. I don't believe in Denver. Tampa's probably the 11th team. Okay, and LA, there's like some sort of really weird relationship going on with the Rams and Stafford. I don't know what they're going to do. I can guarantee you this, they're not going into the draft. They're going to make a move for a quarterback if they have to. Okay? No, I'm going Green Bay because they got the better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. I think they probably come back with Stafford for one more season. Yeah, Philly. Those are the best rosters in the NFL right now. Philly, Detroit. Houston. Green Bay. These are rosters. Tampa Bay. Here's the shittiest rosters. Cleveland, Carolina, the Jets, and the Giants. Those are your shitty rosters. Okay? Dallas is in the middle. The Titans are terrible too. They could be down there. You could put them in any, you could put them 5, sure. Yeah, and I think the Texans are top 10. I think they beat up the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that was a shitty called game by the officials, and I thought they made mistakes in that game. If you watch that Texans game, nobody in here would think that the Houston Texans didn't outplay them. They've got a lot of young talent. That's a good-looking football team. They just need to do better at the play calling, and they need to do better, in my opinion, on the offensive line. Okay? Raiders have a shitty offense and a shitty roster as well. They do. I would say that. All right. Hit the like button here. Give me a total on where we are with our likes. I want to get to 300 by the end of the program. Appreciate you guys. Do you bring back Darius Slay? You owe him no money heading into 2025. You owe him no money. We need 44 more likes, guys. Thank you, guys. I think we can get that done inside this hour. Do you bring Darius Slay back? Give him one more year. How old is this dude? How old is Darius Slay? It's going to be tough to replace. This guy's 34. He's 34 years old. How much is he making this year? He's born January 1st. He's a New Year's guy. All right. And he's 34 years old. How much is it? Hey, Kyle, if you're in here, what's his contract? 35 next January. got to be the oldest corner in the league. What's his salary? Xander and I were both right on him. He was good. He was banged up. That's not going to get better. How much money did he make? Or how much money is he projected to make? They owe him, like I said, no guaranteed money. So you can whack him right now and save a lot of money on your cap if you got rid of him. You're gonna get rid of James Bradbury. That's gonna be a post June 1. And if you cut Slay, you could save money post June 1. You could save, in theory, $10 million, about $9 million. $15 million, Yale, for Darius Slay at 34. Man, that's awful rich, man. $34 million. Why not put Cooper DeJean out there, man? I got to tell you, I wouldn't bring him back. At 34 million, 34 years old, at 15 million, if Yale's number's right, 15.5, fuck that. 15.5 at 34. I don't think so. I don't think so. That's a lot of money, man. And then put Cooper DeJean out there working on oil rigs, tough job, but I liked it. I moved up quickly. Hired as a pipe. Hey, man, way to go, dude. Made some great money. Did you work out there in the Gulf? Out there in Louisiana? Man. Isaiah Rodgers is good, but he got cooked on some plays. I thought he had a pretty good season. Yeah, in today's NFL, though, I would say this to you. This comment here, you're not asked to be physical any longer. Coop staying inside, Ringo time. So you're going to go from Darius Slay to Keely Ringo? Not me. Keely Ringo, Darius Slay, I'll take a 60% Darius Slay before I put Keely Ringo in a starting position. No way. No way. Okay? Not a chance. I think Ringo's a good player, but I don't think he's a player that's going to ever be a great player. Some will disagree, but Vic's not afraid to play younger guys. You know where he is? No, he played Quinion. Isn't it great? What a contradiction from what the guys in Miami said. Vic started a rookie at corner, and they said his defenses were outdated. And he started a rookie at corner. I'm not saying he's a bad player, Ringo. I'm not saying that. But we're talking Darius Slay, who's had a great career. Okay? That's not what I'm saying here. We're talking about a guy who's had a great career. But he's 34. 15.5? That's way over the top. Would he restructure? Maybe. If he wants to stay, I think he's got to restructure. Slay's old ass still play at the high level. When he's in there, yeah. He was good. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right, Yale. Slay's like a fine Dago wine. Oh, only Vic could say that, right? He's like a fine Dago wine. He said that at a press conference. Oh, my God. Can you imagine Big Sills dropping that? Hey, hey, that guy's like a great Guinea wine. Yeah. Hey, Darius Slay's like a fine Guinea wine. How you doing? Yeah. Drew Rosenhaus is his agent too, by the way. Hey, Sills, you have to give these young guys a chance at least. With Vic, yeah. You're right. Low, you're not wrong. Okay? The young players elevated. They were elevated by that coaching staff. There's totally, you're right. I mean, the player development last year, Gary Cobb just said it on this program here. He's never seen anything. I've never seen anything like that. Zach Bond. Nolan Smith come from fucking nowhere. Jalix Hunt's developed. Sills, when's the first mock draft? I think I do my first one traditionally around when free agency starts, because then I get a sense of what teams are going to be looking at. You really don't know right now because, look, I think the Eagles need an edge rusher. You get Myles Garrett, you don't need an edge rusher. You could go depth at interior. Here, let me do this. I got the draft picks down. Guys, hit the like button, please. Do me a favor. Give me a total on the likes. Want to get to 300 by the end of the program. Guys are great. By the way, Cross Abroad took shots at us. CNN is taking shots at us. That's what the show you guys have created does. Okay, we're 29 away from 300. Way to go. All right. Eagles have, in round one, the 32nd pick. Don't name me a player. What do they do there at 32? Here's the pluses and minuses. If I move down and I move out of 32 and I go into the second and third round, you got a football. How many holes are on your team right now? Prior to free agency. Oh, no. Okay, Bond could be one. Edge with Sweat. Tackle with Milton. Got to prep for him. Where else? Right guard. Where else? There's four, right? Right guard. Josh Sweat. Milton Williams. And Zach Bond. There's four. Okay. What do you do at 32? Well, if I trade out of that, I can get multiple seconds and twos or multiple seconds and thirds. You're going to get a good player down there. Second round's a good round. Third round's a great round. Do you know the most successful round in NFL history is the third round? When it comes to players making ball teams and having great careers, it's the third round. Why is that? Best player available usually falls in that round. That's the best and most productive round in NFL history is the third round. Okay? It's not the first round. Because the quarterbacks screw up the first round. Every time you get that stupid quarterback class, like this year's quarterback class, man, I think the top guy, Shedeur Sanders, I think if he is the top guy, I mean, you think Quinn Ewers is good? Cam Ward, maybe? Those guys look like third rounders to me. Used to be frustrated when you said Hurts wasn't a starting quarterback, couldn't win a Super Bowl 2-3 years ago. Now, me being proven right, I am forever satisfied. I'm glad you get that off your chest there, buddy. Congratulations to you. I'm glad you got that off your chest. There you go. Hey, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for being part of the program. Thank you. Okay. What do you do at 32? Trade up? Trade down? Make a pick? Make a trade? Howie? Probably trade up. If there's a kid within reach, he'll probably trade up. You don't have very many holes on your team. You'll know when free agency starts March 12th. You may not have to trade up. You don't know right now. You're waiting, like I said, you're waiting to see what your holes are going to be. And right now on your football team, I'd go this way. Are you keeping Jack Driscoll and Fred Johnson? Are those guys going to go on the open market and be free agents too? So you got a right guard you got to deal with. You may have both inside linebackers that started in the Super Bowl free agents, Oren Burks and Zach. Defensive tackle, Milton, Josh. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And majority of them, there's 4 of them on defense. You got 4 holes on defense. Maybe. Well, if you lose Zach Bond and you lose Josh Sweat and you lose Milton Williams, I'm not saying you're losing any of them. That's why that first-round pick at 32, me, right now, I got my eyeball set on an edge rusher. And you know how you guys like to see Jalen Hurts step up in games? You tell me who had a better playoff than Jack Sawyer at Ohio State. Name me a guy. He was named the defensive player of the playoffs. And in the national championship game was Jack Sawyer. Name me another guy who played better football in the playoffs than him. Abdul Carter? Maybe. Abdul Carter might be the second or third player taken. He could be the first player. I think it's between Travis Hunter and him. I'll give you this about Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is probably the best talented athlete I've seen play the cornerback position in a long time. He's not in Deion's league. I played during Deion's time and played against Deion in college. Not very many corners like that, where half the field is just shut off and you don't throw there because this guy ran 4 flat 40s and shit, and he just had a nose for the football. Hunter's a great player. And what I liked about him was I liked his journey. He went to an HBCU school. He should have won the floor. He was supposed to, and he was earmarked to go to Florida State. And when he went to the Jackson State, I was shocked because he wanted to be around Deion. Then he followed, obviously, to Colorado. Every time I saw him on the field, he was the best player on the field. And it wasn't close. Okay, I mean, every game he was on, there wasn't a better player than him. I mean, his closing speed. I think him playing wide receiver helped him as DB. Okay. The kid Abdul Carter, I might be more impressed with. Edge rusher, shit talker. And one thing Penn State's putting out, they're putting edge rushers out. You want to get a defensive football player, you go to Penn State. Penn State still puts defensive players out. You can, whatever you want. I tell you, those Penn State guys barely suck when they get to the NFL. That's a great program. James Franklin can't win games, but they put out really good players. And I think it's got a lot to do with the New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, that whole area, New York, upstate New York. You know, Chop Robinson. I told you that'd be a guy that I'd be okay with if the Eagles had drafted him. He finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting for the Miami Dolphins. I liked him a lot. Yeah, he turned out to be a really good ball player for Miami. That's why they're making some moves off of some of the guys they got down there. Okay, in the second round, You got the 64th player. It's a great pick. Round 2. Me, O-line. I gotta keep feeding the beast. I'm going O-line there. You know what I'm doing? I'm making sure Jeff Stoutland's barn is always packed. Okay? I am making sure that guy's barn is always packed with great talent. That's the engine of your team is not Barkley. The engine of your team is that O-line. And if you guys start getting off the O-line, D-line, now if somebody came to me and said, Sills, how about a D tackle there in the second round at 64? Okay. You stay in that room between Vic and Stoutland, bro, I'm okay with that. But me, O-line, don't get away from the fact you spend more money on your O-line than anybody else in the NFL does. There's the reason for that. Okay? I mean, you really do. Mulata's a $24 million guy. Your guard's a $21 million guy. Your center's on a rookie deal. He makes 1.5. If you keep Becton, that's going to be $14 million. And Lane makes 25. I mean, there's 49 between 40. There's 50 million in 2 tackles. Money well spent. Agreed. 20 on the guard. 89. 14. Keep Becton. You spend 115 million a year, $275 million salary cap on offensive line. Money well spent. Yeah. Won a Super Bowl with it. No one's debating. I'm not debating that. And for the record, what Yale said there, who in the world would want to spend money on linebackers and DBs and wide receivers if you don't have that part of your team taken care of and locked down? I can spend $35 million on a wideout, $25 million on a wideout if I've got my O-line intact. If I were building a team, I'm building it from the inside out. I'm not building it from the outside in. If I see a flashy guy out there, like Cooper Kupp, if you're a team like the Jets, that's a perfect sign for them. You know why? They're stupid. Instead of signing a guy that can help them in the O-line, they're a team that would sign that. Remember what we're talking about when remember what we're talking about with there's certain teams that are just dumb that will overspend. Here, I like this Adam Peters kid in Washington. What would be more important? Think about this for a second, James Jones. If I'm him, Zach Bond, that sounds nice. Give me Mekhi Becton. You know why? My future's not my defense. It's why Dan Quinn's in the game. That's why he's the head coach. Give me Mekhi Becton to block for my superstar quarterback. Okay? Give me Mekhi Becton. I need to protect that kid. Dude, having Cooper Kupp and all these other guys, I need to make sure I insure that guy. That's what they're not doing in Cincinnati. They're doing this. You know what they're trying to cut a deal with T. Higgins. Why? If you don't have a running game, you let Joe Mixon walk out the building. It hurts your football team in play action this year, which meant that your offense, if they had 3 and outs and didn't get out to a fast start, meant what? Your defense was on the field longer. You got exposed. The D coordinator lost his job, and you didn't make the playoffs. Why? Because you fundamentally screwed that whole thing up. One player, the running back, Joe Mixon, who had gained 1,000 yards there and was great in the pass game. They took that guy off the team and hurt your defense. Completely hurt your defense, which meant you weren't making the playoffs. The reason the Eagles won the Super Bowl is twofold. You ran the ball and you played great D. There's no other reason you won the Super Bowl. That was the story of your team this year. You played exceptional defense, and you were amazing in running the ball. Your quarterback had to play one good game this year, too. And they were most important, not saying that, but he didn't have to play like that all year, and he didn't. Not saying he couldn't have. He didn't. I mean, that's why they won that Super Bowl. So, third round, 96 pick. So what did I do? I said edge and O-line. O-line. I don't know what that is. Could be interior. O-line. Third round, 96 pick. I'd probably go tight end. You got to get more out of that position. You do. Dallas Goedert can't be good every 6 games. You can't be good every 6 games. Come on, man. It shows he's good. You know he's good, right? I know, but he's never healthy. I can't build a game plan around a tight end who I'm not sure is going to make it past 14 games a year. That's unreliable. This guy's missed 25% of his career on the injured reserve list. 25% of your career. Too high for me. Fourth round, 129th pick. Another good round. Edge, O-line, tight end. Where would I go here? If I'm the Eagles, defensive tackle help. Okay, fourth round, DT. Maybe I trade up, try to get another 3 by using the 5 and 6 to move up into the third round to get me another defensive tackle, because I don't know what's going on with Milton Williams. So so far I've gone edge, O-line, tight end, DT. Change them around. Again, this will all change free agency. Fifth round, 162. This is a Kelsey round, right? I'm going to go linebacker. I don't know what Dean's injury is going to look like when he comes back. I'm not sure I'm going to have Oren Burks. I'm not sure I'm going to have Zach Bond, and I'm not sure what I'm looking at with Trotter yet. So far, edge, O-line, tight end, DT, and linebacker. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sixth round, 166. Probably going here. Wide receiver. Special teams. 7, 169. Probably another linebacker. So today on February 18th, my draft would look something like this. Edge, O-line, tight end, running back, defensive tackle, linebacker, wide receiver, LB. Personally, I don't really think the running back class is very good this year. Top 3 guys, I told you, I have the top 3 guys. Dan Morgan gave me the top 3 for the Carolina Panthers. This is their draft board. And their running backs were Janiti, who I don't really think a lot of. Hampton from UNC, and Scatterboo from Arizona State. Those are your top 3 running backs. Not one of these guys, except the Boise State guy, supposedly is a first-round pick. The rest of them are 3s and 4s. You can get Skateabu in the 3rd round. He's not a first round guy. He's not a second round guy. So if you wanted to change out the linebacker and put a running back there to help out Barkley, you're going to be able to land on him, because I would say this, that Skateabu would probably be somewhere between the 3rd round and the 5th round. Remember I said that to you. Guys, 26 more likes, we can get to 300. Okay? Sills, my 10-year-old daughter calls you big potty mouth, respectfully. Thanks for another great season of content. People don't know you have the best off-season coverage. Major salute. You tell your daughter I apologize. My aunt's going to kick my backside for my potty mouth. You tell her I'm sorry. Okay? She just reminded me. I'm going to be in trouble now. Do you understand, Muggsy? You just got me in trouble. Okay? I'm going to get scolded for this here. Muggsy, in a way, I know you're being cool, but Muggsy, your daughter just got me in trouble with my aunt. Ugh. Okay? Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Junior Muggsy. Hey, yeah, Muggs, you got me in trouble, man. There's no going back now. You shut up, M. Reyes. I like to kick. Wait, I tell you, M. Reyes, I'm gonna get you, man. I actually like that guy. He must 2 top 5 draft team. Skateabu going to get picked up before the Eagles can get him. I don't know, man. I think he's a 3rd, 4th, or 5th, somewhere in there. Muggsy. Oh, get dirty. No way, man. No way. Are you kidding me? Let me just put it to you this way around my aunt. We went to her funeral one time. I was wearing a red scarf in church. She looked at me with the evilest eyes I've ever seen. It was something out of like Poltergeist or like The Exorcist. She's looking at me going, "Don't you ever," she's my godmother now, so you know, "ever wear a red scarf in church again. Get that off." I went like this. Priest is giving like a eulogy to a funeral we went to. And there I'm sitting there going, "It's a red scarf." I looked at my cousin. "It's a red scarf." She looked at me and noticed the red scarf, and she gave, oh my God. So little Muggsy, thank you very much for getting me in trouble. Oh, all supers go to the top. Please do me a favor. Give us a like number here where we are. We're closing in on 300. All right. Here's some of the guys that I picked that you could land on down there at that 32. Where is this here? Yeah, I just got in trouble. 10-year-old daughter, 10-year-old little girl just kicked my rear end. Okay. 20 more to go. Come on, Mr. International. Here's some guys that I wrote down. Tyler Williams, the DT from Ohio State. I know the defensive line coach there, and this kid is somebody to keep an eye on down there at 32. Would Howie draft a D tackle down there? Well, if you lose Milton Williams, I'd like to have this kid Williams. I would take him. You could fit him in there, and he's on a rookie deal. Okay? He's a good player. He's going to be down there around 28 and 32. Another guy, Shamir Stewart, O-line. He's an A&M kid. the thing with A&M, and you're in the Southeastern Conference, A&M, they cannot win ball games, but they have a ton of talent on that roster. They just have poor coaching. Okay? It's an old line pick that if you pick this kid Stewart from A&M, that's a pick. That's going to go a long way with you. But again, if I've got Jeff Stoutland, am I going to really waste a first-round pick on an offensive tackle? Probably not. Jeff could make a second or third-round guy. Look what he did with Becton. He made a bust into a guy who's going to be one of the most sought-after guards in football. I might not draft an offensive lineman in the first round. Nick Scourton, linebacker, Ohio State, another kid. 285. He's an edge guy. He's on the other side of Sawyer, who I have down here also. Boy, I'll tell you, more and more I watch Jack Sawyer play, the more and more I am just absolutely sure that he's going to be a star. He looks like TJ Watt out there. He's taller than Watt. He's bigger than Watt. He kind of looks a little bit like JJ Watt. I mean, I think he has the makings of somebody really good here. Sills must think other teams have Stoutland to work with Becton. That's not the point. Stoutland got Becton paid, whether it's in Philly or somewhere else. What's your point? So what? He built him up. They won a Super Bowl with him, and now he's going to go get paid. I mean, I'm not sure what you're saying. Colston Loveling, the tight end from Michigan, that'd be somebody. But later in the rounds is where I would potentially go. Jack Sawyer is a guy who went to Indianapolis without the injury. Man, I really like him. Still's recovering from surgery. Well, how long do you think the Eagles will have to wait for Huff's contract to expire? Dude, he's a big cap hit. And by the way, I hope you recover well there, Blaine. Thank you very much for the super. Hey, Blaine, tell me if you're at home recovering or if you're in the hospital recovering. Like to know where you are. Mike Green's a pretty good one, too, the kid from Marshall. My Eagles' father, I put him on the second or third team All-American team, the kid from Marshall. He's a good-looking player. I think it's a 3-year deal. Maybe after the second year. Okay, maybe after the second year. Somewhere in there. I like Jack Sawyer, though. I think that dude's got I think he's got really big time potential. Watch him in the championship game. Just watch him in the semi game. He was even better in that one. Mike Green reminds me of Nolan. Okay? Yeah, Jack Sawyer reminds me of TJ Watt. He's in that kind of conversation. Like, he looks great. And remember something, he's going to be down there at 32, 28 to 30. You know, I've seen anywhere from 13 to 32 or not 32, like 13 to 28 somewhere. I've seen him in between. Again, the quarterbacks are going to screw this whole thing up here. All right, guys, do me a favor. Check out our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Very proud that we were able to get John Morgan on a couple weeks ago so you can meet him, and we'll do it again. Daniel, his son, also runs the law firm here, and it's the largest injury law firm in America. with over $20 billion recovered. They do it better than anybody else. And I'll tell you this, their track record is absolutely second to none. With over $20 billion recovered for their clients, like I told you before, make no excuses about it or there's nothing to debate about it, is that Morgan & Morgan is going to get you the return you need for you and your family. Life is hard, and hiring Morgan & Morgan will be the easiest decision that you ever make. If you're ever injured, check out my friends at Morgan & Morgan. The fee is free unless you win, okay? It's simple as that. You got to win. For more information, go forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's FOR forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. Do me a favor. Tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales, appreciate you guys coming aboard today. So Netflix wants a Sunday NFL package. They're going to get it. Make no mistake about it. You're going to see a lot more streaming. This helps our industry, obviously. And Netflix has come out saying, we'll pay whatever you need to have a Sunday NFL package. So you could see some of those games being added now. Another revenue stream for the NFL would be streaming football games every Sunday now, instead of just having them on Thursdays with Amazon. Netflix wants to get into the picture now. So, yeah, I mean, would it shock me one day if the NFL had the Super Bowl streaming? No, it wouldn't. I'm awake or you. You know, a lot of people don't really like the streaming aspect of it, but the NFL loves it because this is a new way that they're going to create more revenue. So great stuff today, guys. Show flew by. You guys were sensational today, man. I appreciate you a lot. We have a lot of fun during the football season. To me, this is the second season. So do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Thank you guys so much for the supers. Big Joe Xander, thank you again. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.